And welcome back, everyone, to another exciting installment of the Terrorist Podcast. We hope you're all having a wonderful evening. I'm a Chris.
Hello.
Usually we start this off with some new news events. The only fucking event I could think of is that another white person was shot by ICE, by federal agents. And I'll admit, I've said some mean things on Facebook. Sure, it's true. But at the same time, I just want to say from like what I've the way I actually perceive it is just a bunch of white people like saying we need to kill each other over what to do about non-whites, and that's fucking retarded. Like, I'm sorry.
It's a race war no one saw coming.
Yeah, whites against whites.
What
Well,
I've been
then
saying,
it's not a race war; it's an ideological war.
well, it's just white people is not just like is really just not one united group. Just there's a bunch of different white people.
I mean, they might as well. White people might as well be. They're the minority now in this country.
Not in the whole country, in the city for sure. Not
No,
the
in
whole
this country, yeah.
Well, they're a minority. It could.
No, they're the you guys. Yeah, you guys are a minority. Who's the most abundant? I know. I don't think it's Asians. It's got to be like
Pretty sure it's Caucasian still.
still.
Pretty sure for the country, yeah.
We could look this up. Are whites a minority in USA?
You probably get some pretty interesting suggestions.
Although the white population continued to represent the largest racial and ethnic group in the U.S., their share of the overall population decreased from 69.1% in 2002 to 59. Ooh. So you are going to be a minority very soon.
I live in New York
If not
City. I'm already a minority.
Yeah, but to be a minority in America, that's like, it's a different story.
Well, I don't know, my family is very freshly American. My grandparents aren't from the U.S., so it's not like we weren't white at one point. We were like the immigrants. Well, they would have been the immigrants, not me.
Immigrated from where?
Italy and Ireland. They weren't considered white people.
Yeah, but that's barely a change.
Well,
It
it wasn't barely a change.
from Italy and Ireland to New York.
It's a bit of a change.
A little bit of a change.
How do you call it? Like my grandfather came here as a little kid. He got like made fun of.
I think the only real changes are better. He would have gotten made fun of in Ireland too, but you know.
Well, he grew up there. I mean, like my Italian grandfather. Like for him, it was.
He would have gotten made fun of in Italy too, but at least in.
What are you saying? He's funny looking.
No, I mean, no. I'm just saying, like, you're gonna eat shit no matter where you are.
Oh, sure. It's not. I'm not crying.
But at
about it.
least, at least moving to New York from like Ireland or fucking Italy, like at least in New York, you could get in on the ground floor on a building or real estate or a business or something. It makes. I mean, I'm not saying you could do that now. I'm not saying it's that way now.
Oh, it's not. It's not at all.
No, but back then it was.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think I'd say good for them. Good for both your grandparents. You've got grandfathers, especially. You know, like the guys who actually said, "I'm gonna go to America." You know.
Yeah, no, it takes some balls. Well, actually, my one grandfather wasn't his choice because he was like 7, I think.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that the immigrants who actually had the ball, because let's be honest,
It does take some ball. It does.
No, it
absolutely
takes
does.
a lot of willpower, a lot of resources, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of patience to like literally immigrate anywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
So
They did it the old school way. Boats.
So it makes sense that like, you know, all the people who would leave your country to go to America would be like the best of the best anyway, because you're like, yo, we're the alpha dogs. We actually go out and we fucking go to the place.
Well, they'd be hustlers. Yeah. Like, but the whole reason they would leave obviously is because things aren't going so well where they are.
That's one part of it for sure
Yeah.
too. It's like, what are you trying to run
Like,
away from? But then again, it's like I think about even Mexico, like I look at their lives and I'm like, that's worth running away from.
Yeah, and they're doing the same thing. They like all they have to do is like travel this distance, and they can make way more money and provide for their family. That's really what most of them are doing.
Yeah.
What all immigrants.
But to be honest, it's not the same with Mexicans. All right, I don't consider like an illegal like the border crossings between Mexico and America the same as like the border crossings between like Guatemala and America or Colombia and America. It's different because the way the Mexican the way the Mexican border is with America, it's very, very vague. It's a lot vaguer and looser than we think it is. Like we only look at the border crossing on the highway, which makes sense because that's where you're going to drive your car through if you want to go to like Target
Yeah.
in America from Mexico, or if you
Right,
want to
but
go
that's
to
and that's not
yeah,
how
and you
most
got
of them
to.
come in. But that is the one.
But there's so many places where it's like, along like a river, like a riverbed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there would be one side where there's like clearly American businesses, cantinas, whatever, and on the other side is clearly Mexico.
But
But
technically,
there's
up
like a
till
stupid
this,
fucking ferry
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever, and no border patrol agents would say like, "Oh yeah, we got to come and put," because they don't, because it's part of the cultural thing there.
and
It's like,
it's also not as big of an issue as people think it is.
and people
Like,
don't know about these things. Like
No,
they
yeah.
all they think the border is like such a hard. It's not.
No, yeah, it's
like
not.
Mexico and America have actually a really loose border. Yes, in the highways it's very strictly enforced because on the
Yeah.
highways is where you could A, smuggle in wholesale people, B, smuggle in drugs and guns. So it's different.
Yeah, and that is the main way to get in and out. So yeah, it has to be.
But there are so many other ways personally to get in and out. Like you could literally access communities like locally in Texas and Mexico where there's like clearly like a known communal raft where it's like, yeah, every Saturday we have our little
Yeah,
festivals and-
absolutely, yeah.
yeah, and they do that shit.
Yeah.
And for them, it's like nothing, like because they've had that for their whole lives.
Yeah, and it's not that big of a deal either to like even be caught.
I don't even know how I know about this, but it's like as a I guess as a New Yorker, like you talk to a lot of Mexican Americans and shit.
Yeah, talk to a lot of different people. Yeah,
I do talk to a lot of like Guatemalans as well and fucking Venezuelans and shit. Dominicans.
I was trying to train some people from Guatemalans for like sales jobs.
They're
They
good.
were-
They're hard workers. From what I understand, they're also good sex workers. We apparently like a lot of criminals smuggle in a lot of girls from Guatemala, Venezuela, not really from Argentina. Argentina's just built different, but like yeah,
They got money, Argentina.
Cuba, Colombia.
Yeah, well, that's good old sex trafficking.
Yeah, that's never going away.
Oh, absolutely not. That is, but it doesn't mean it shouldn't be kept in check.
How would you keep sex work in check?
Get them a union.
A union?
Yeah,
A sex worker union?
yeah. Cut out
That's very compelling.
cut out the pimps. Cut out like all the violence and the shady. That's getting rid of the shadiness of it. Give them a union, and they could that union will they'll pay into it. They'll be checked on, so they'll be healthy. You can cut down on venereal diseases. You cut down on violent interactions.
But it'll also increase divorce rates by a lot.
So what? I don't think just because it would be legalized doesn't. I don't think would make it that much more.
I just think like throughout antiquity, we had instances where sex work was completely legalized, and we saw what happened. It just never ever worked ever in human history. That shit just doesn't fucking work.
Like where? Canada had that for a while.
Like the Horse of Babylon. I'm talking like that old in antiquity. Like we've done this before many times because it's the oldest profession. Like we've done this. We've had entire civilizations built on this idea of like, yeah, we just let the shit rock, and we saw what happened. To that. It doesn't
more.
work.
It's more than I'm not saying just let the shit rock because that's more so what's happening now. Like right now, the way it is, like
I mean,
nobody,
they say America's
nobody
a
cares.
second, like it's the second Rome falling.
Yeah, but that's
I mean, that's the same shit we're talking about because like. I mean, if you look at like Rome on the Twilight era, it's like it's the same shit. You saw sex workers rampant, and
no, but
you were
that
like,
that it was always like that for hundreds of years. So that's just like bullshit. That like it got that much.
it's a
more.
I don't think it's one static thing that's like that for hundreds of years. I think it's just a cycle.
It's not like Rome went down like in that way where there was an overabundance of excess and like partying and stuff like that. Like in the whole culture, like it was much different. It was more of an infrastructure issue. Is like what brought them down, and like no, they were like that for hundreds of years. Like orgies were like a thing. Like it was okay to have multiple partners. Homosexuality wasn't.
Well, yeah, no,
criminalized.
I actually widely agree with you. It
Yeah.
wasn't an.
But it was like that for hundreds of
I don't think
years.
it was a
It wasn't a
cultural.
new
I
thing.
don't think it was a cultural problem or an infrastructure problem. It was an energy problem. Where energy was being diverted was misplaced. For us, we look at it in a technological lens. We look at energy from like, oh, who's refining the raw material and where is that actually refined energy being dispersed to and diverted to using pipelines and all these like technological facets of infrastructure. But back then, they saw things the same way, except for them, it wasn't technological. It was human. It was biological. Like, where's human energy being diverted? You know, they were no strangers to energy. They still use energy infrastructure, but they just mishandled it, just like we're mishandling technological and material infrastructure. You know,
We're mishandling gambling. I think really
you want to
badly.
talk about gambling? Let's talk about gambling. Gamba. Let's talk about some gamba. Gamba. You know, it's becoming a big Twitch trend because on Twitch, like you know about Twitch, you know how it's like a big platform for gamers to like go. I stream on Twitch. I love Twitch. I like Twitch.
Yeah, I know what Twitch is mainly.
But it's not just
about.
for gaming. It's like for live streaming in general, and it gives you a good platform as to like basically sell your identity as a brand.
Yeah,
And you can make some shekels, some internet shekels, you know? So yeah, that's a thing. But what's becoming bigger than the games is now gambling.
yeah,
Like watching someone like lose their shirt or win everything.
Yeah.
Like 6 months rent. That's awesome. Like, I mean,
That's crazy.
what's more exciting? Like watching someone play fucking Fortnite or Call of Duty for 12 hours, or watching someone gamble for 12 hours.
yeah, because
you know?
that's a life experience. It's-
Also, what's really funny is Mr. Beast was the one who gave me like
Yeah.
he was the one who introduced me, I should say, to a really good idea for a YouTube channel. He was like straight up said on an interview, he was like, if I had to start from zero, like if you took away all my clout and all my attention and all my subscribers and all my money, whatever, and I had to start from zero all over again, what kind of channel would I make on YouTube? And he said, he was like, I would make a channel that's called I play scratch offs every day until I win. So basically he goes and then it's like, you know, he goes on YouTube, posts a video every day of him playing scratch offs and he's like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. So you're watching this guy like lose like every day.
Yeah.
And you know, the more he reacts, he's like, oh fuck, the more invested you're gonna be because you're like, oh, I love it when he loses his shit.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, you know, and you gain subscribers that way because they feel your emotional turmoil. They're like, damn, you know, just watching this guy, he's never gonna win. But then one day, after like 120,000 subscribers, you're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit it good. You're gonna hit it good enough where like everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, the YouTube channel I play scratch off every day until I would actually won. So like that's a brilliant idea.
it's a good idea. Like it makes sense. It would make money, but that's
But do you see shit like that with like I open booster packs every day, you know?
I was going to say, yeah, there's
Yeah.
other things like that.
Same
There's people,
shit.
yeah, people like there's just people that just were willing to watch anyone post anything. I think for
No,
long
it's
periods
more
of
than
time.
that. It's more than that. I think it's a little more. I used to think it was that, but I think it's now. Now I think it's a little more complicated because now it's like, I mean, let's be real. Like, what's the hardest thing to do these days? It's pay attention.
Absolutely, yeah.
Attention is the closest thing to labor we have now. Honestly, it's just what you pay attention to. That's what determines your fucking life.
And in this world, people have such a shorter attention span that
Well,
whatever
also
they do have it on, they will like that's their focus. That's it.
Well, this means you could quantify it, and this means you could harvest it. This means you could literally funnel people's like a huge portion of the population's attention to you,
Yeah.
or whatever you want,
Yeah.
if you know the game. A lot of people, they're so focused on making dollars, making sales, making subscribers, making revenue, making leverage, making info, making intel, but like making content. But what they don't really like consider is the common thread that connects all of it, which is attention.
Yeah.
It's the attention economy.
And that gives the that person power.
Yeah. I mean, are you good with marketing? You know, it's funny. Like, I took one of those fucking online courses, like the Google certified certifications for online marketing, and I got it. I got. If it's like, what the fuck does that mean? It's not like a university. It's just a Google cert. You know, who cares? But I understand how online marketing works to the point where I could give you a good model for it. It's just a funnel. It's the funnel system. You know how sales funnels work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah.
How would you describe it? I'm not saying it's going to be right or wrong. I'm just curious.
Why don't you describe it? 'Cause
All
I
right, I'll
don't-
describe it. So a sales funnel is like, so a funnel is built up of different parts, like different gates. Each gate is consecutively after the last one narrower. So the first gate is obviously the widest one, right? Just like a funnel. So this is where you disperse your
I
baseline
understand.
service.
Yeah, like it's a more far-reaching type of campaign,
and
then you focus.
to eventually go down to like retaining customers, like returning customers.
Right, yeah.
You know, like loyal customers.
Yeah.
So you start with the funnel, And then like if each phase of the funnel, like as it gets narrower, is smooth, and you eliminate all the inefficiencies,
Yeah.
then anyone who goes to the top of the funnel will easily funnel into the last
you
into the
you
bottom.
cast like a wide net,
And that's really what marketing is about, is to make that funnel as smooth as possible. So anyone who
figuring out
touches the
your
top,
demographic, like your
yeah,
target demographics,
the way
and to get it so like special, or just so you're not wasting time advertising to people that just aren't going to use your product.
the way I would describe it is you take a jar, right, with the open lid, and you pour some vinegar in it. It's gonna do nothing but attract flies. They're gonna come, they're gonna feast on it, they're gonna leave, right? And that's a bad funnel. That's a bad marketing funnel. That's a bad sales funnel. Is when they could just come in, take what they want, and leave, and never see your jar again, right? Now here's a good funnel.
You want to trap them.
What you want to do is you want to get that jar of vinegar, and you want to pour a couple drops of dish soap, because when you pour a couple drops of dish soap, it's going to change the surface tension of that fluid, where any fruit fly that comes to try to like go, it'll just fall right in. So that's a good sales funnel. So you want to figure out what your dish soap is. You know, like everyone wants to sell something. Sure.
Gotta find out what your sticky thing is.
Yeah, what breaks that tension where it's like as soon as they touch the surface, they break into something. And they're like, oh shit, oh my god, I can't get out. You know.
I mean, that's ideally that is how it would work. That is the best way.
I mean, who's got the monopoly on this right now? It's political ideologues like this ice shit. They're really good at this because everyone could relate to it. You know, apparently, supposedly. What do you think about that latest shooting, Alex Preddy?
Oh, I actually don't really know much about it.
All right,
I was in like Florida
because of this podcast episode and because of this section, I had to be like, I'm gonna have to like look into this now because we're gonna talk about it. So
I figured you would. I just never. I just missed it.
So CNN reports Alex Preddy, the 37-year-old man killed by federal immigration agents Saturday, worked as a nurse treating sick veterans, according to family, friends, and colleagues, a reflection of his deep desire to help others, they said. Preddy worked as an intensive care unit nurse at the Minneapolis VA Medical Center for around 5 years, according to a coworker who asked to speak anonymously. Preddy was fatally shot while immigration agents wrestled him on the ground in Minneapolis. The Department of Homeland Security said officers took a handgun from Preddy at the scene and fired in self-defense. CNN analysis of video shows a federal agent removed the gun just before the shooting. The officers attempted to disarm the suspect, but the armed suspect violently resisted, the agency said in a statement. Now, Wikipedia reports Preddy was filming law enforcement agents with his phone and directing traffic. At one point, he stood between an agent and a woman whom the agent had pushed to the ground, putting his arm around the woman. He was then pepper sprayed and wrestled to the ground by several federal agents, with around 6 surrounding him when he was shot and killed. You saw the video.
I didn't see the video for this.
You didn't?
No.
Shit. All right, we'll look it up. You didn't see the shooting of Alex Preddy?
No. I thought I heard about it, then I just didn't feel like paying attention.
Yeah, I was there too. But I did see the footage. Like basically they were all like wrestling this guy. And apparently one guy ran off, and that's when they just popped him like on the ground, like while they were surrounding him. It was literally like 6 guys in uniform around him and like on the ground, and then you just pop, and he was dead.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I'm not trying to like feed one narrative over another. I'm just saying I saw the videos. That's what I saw. I don't know really if he was a threat because I wasn't there. You know, I wasn't involved, but
I wonder how many shootings involving ICE agents have taken place prior to.
Well, this is the second white person that I shot.
Which is just, don't want to shoot white people. You get in
No,
trouble.
I'm just saying.
It's just because like this thing is meant to protect against immigrants, whatever. So like that price shouldn't be worth an American or so dying every now and then as a result of this
that's a good
increased
conservative argument. Honestly, it's like you guys think this is worth it? Like
yeah, exactly. Like no, like it's like keeping out immigrants, whatever, is not worth the price of an American or two dead every now and then. It really isn't. That completely defeats that purpose of that.
But generally, the conservative argument now, like especially on Twitter, like the bleeding edge of conservatism, they're all like, these white women are reaching the point where they're realizing they were wrong about everything, and they're willing to die before they're willing to admit that.
Well, that's true, but I mean, I don't understand why. That's where that fear came from. From like them, that's why like
No, not the fear. It's just this is why people are dying right now.
oh yeah, but they're being shot by other white people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's why they're being shot. It's not because, I mean, it's right now on the news headlines. It's not like immigrants being shot and killed and shit.
yeah.
And there's also news stories of like little children, like white children, being raped and murdered by illegal immigrants. But of course, that's not the flavor of the Overton window right now. So,
Well, it's these things have also just always gone on, and it just the way
the news is
the
bad.
24-hour
the
the
media.
24-hour news cycle has done is like it. There's like these
But
flavors,
I can't blame the news
and you
cycle.
can't, and it makes you not be able to care.
But I
about,
can't blame the news cycle because not every single person, no matter what demographic you belong to, is obsessed with this type of news cycle.
Yeah,
It's a specific type of person that I see in Asian Americans and white Americans and black Americans. It's a certain type of American that's just obsessed with this specific type of thing.
yeah,
And it does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Of course, yeah. But the thing is like it. Like you're getting news from like everywhere, so you can forward an agenda with just and if like all your news comes from everywhere, like you could form an agenda however like so easily.
Yeah.
You could cherry pick things, like that's what it is. Like, can you believe like
You
someone
could create a narrative very
Right.
easily.
like people who like realize, oh, can you believe like they shot this person? It's like, well, like sure I can, because this happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like
Did you forget?
yeah, like it's not like this is an isolated incident. We were
The
living in
question
this,
is like, what do you want to be one of those people that get shot, and why?
Like,
and then they're gonna say, well, someone has to do it, and I'll say why, and then they'll say because if no one does it, then no one's gonna speak up for the truth and justice of the situation. What is the truth and justice of the situation? Well, it's that people shouldn't be like kicked out of the country just because they're illegal. Why? Why not? This is what Americans voted for, by and large.
yeah, a lot of them did.
So at that point, it's like, what are you really going against? You're not really going against ideology here. You're just going against your fellow voters. Because some people really are tired of the illegal immigration. You know?
I know they are, but I feel like they just completely misunderstand what they're angry and upset about, and that's
Because what they
that's
see,
why. So now
what
they asked for this. Now they're seeing it. They're like, well, this is not what I meant, and like clearly this is not having.
Well, I mean, what's worse is like they see their own life going to shit, and then they look at this shit and they're like, oh, great, now my life is finally gonna get better. And it's not, you know,
Like why
it's not gonna happen.
In every case, militarizing or creating some type of quasi police
Gestapo.
is like it's like the wasn't the Gestapo. What was the Nazis? There was two different kinds. There were the guys.
Well,
that,
I mean, let's not go and lie.
No,
and say this-
I'm not trying to. Oh,
No,
sorry,
no. What I'm
trying
saying
to-
is, let's not lie and say this isn't deeply American. ICE is not like. Let's not say ICE is not deeply American. We've had Pinkertons. We've had Texas Rangers. We've always had these weird quasi paramilitary kind of groups like to do the heinous shit that real deal feds just couldn't. The only thing the real federal body could do is give carte blanche freedom to certain groups like the Texas Rangers,
Well,
or like ICE. Or,
because up until
ICE is really just the new Texas Rangers. Like that's what they are.
no, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's not the same thing.
What are they fucking doing?
What do you mean? What are they doing? They are legal.
What does ICE do? What does ICE stand for again? It was something and customs enforcement, immigration and customs enforcement agency.
You know what's funny? I have no fucking idea what it even stands
I'm pretty
for.
sure it's immigration and customs enforcement agency.
That's just. I think the other day, like.
But anyway, if you're talking about immigrations and customs enforcing, that's what did the Texas Rangers do? Like they definitely dealt with a lot of Mexicans and Indians, so that's like kind of like immigration shit.
Well, Texas Ranger wasn't like. It's not quasi military.
First of all, they still exist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
They've been reinstated since Bonnie and Clyde. Those fuckers.
Yeah,
they,
but
they brought the Texas Rangers back.
I think it's just to keep fucking Texans happy.
Well, I mean, also armed.
They do love that.
Yeah. So yeah, what were you saying
Shit, what was I saying?
about ICE?
I'm just
Immigration Customs Enforcement. What does ICE stand for?
Yeah.
What
The
does
United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
So it
You're
is
correct.
that, and that's pretty much what the fucking Rangers did. And this is they're like the
They
new
didn't keep out
iteration.
immigrants. That's not what the Rangers did.
No, but they kept customs.
No, Texas Rangers are more like detectives, like
No, they're not.
and like they're more like they're like
They're
marshals.
paramilitary force,
Yeah, but they're we're like the
but
government.
they're
uses them.
legit. They are state legit. At
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
Like if you consider the National Guard legit, then you consider Texas Rangers legit.
Yeah,
They're
you,
like
you
kind
are
of
like on equal footing with like police.
National Guard.
Yeah.
Like or the local sheriff, various local sheriff departments, especially like
I'm pretty sure they supersede them too.
of course,
Yeah,
because they're feds,
right.
federally
But also there was no
stated.
federal police until like the 20s, 30s with J. Edgar Hoover. So like the government would use
Well, before the actual federal agents, you had more like paramilitary privatized agents, like the
they were
Pinkertons
privatized.
and-
Yeah, like because the government wasn't
Equipped.
wasn't trying to like enforce too much on states.
But there was some kind of body, like in the Wild West, for example, you still had the sheriffs answering to, like, well, I mean, like this came from the president, like this came from direct order from.
Well, no, sure. Like they still like the federal government still supersede things, but like there was no like for years
There was no
police-
FBI.
Yeah,
There
for
was no
years
fucking-
for years police departments never spoke to each other
Yeah.
about different things and crimes. So you could easily commit crimes in one town and move on to the next one, and no one would think to call one town over and be like, hey, this guy ever come over here and like try to scam everyone like this? Or
Honestly, I think our own country's federal agencies equal of importance to like Interpol. Because all of Interpol's biggest dudes eventually converge on America in some way, or the American markets, or the American infrastructure.
well, it's because Interpol deals with international crime, right? So yeah,
And America is the most free market in the fucking world.
right. But yes.
So you're
But
going.
Interpol isn't concerned with something like Mexicans crossing the border illegally. They're concerned with.
No. I'm saying
Should
like all the federal agencies that are deal with policing American affairs. I think when you coalesce them, they kind of like equal or maybe even supersede Interpol.
the FBI, or
Not just the FBI. There's also what, the DEA, the ATF. There's
well, I don't know. I don't know how that would work actually from pools.
Isn't NSA federal too?
Yeah, it's a federal. Yeah,
CIA is federal.
federal. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure all of America's federal agencies put together rival, like literally Interpol.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because Interpol is probably it's just Interpol.
And yet America is also part of Interpol.
Are we still?
I hope so. I really hope.
Dude, I don't know anymore, man.
I hope America.
I hope it doesn't cost money.
I hope America. I don't care if it costs money. I will pay.
I know, but I'm saying that's why we're pulling out of all these things. It's like whoa.
Do you think America?
We
should
gotta spend money?
Would you think America should, like, hypothetically speak? It's fair if you do or don't. I'm just asking. Like, do you think America should pull out of Interpol? I don't think they should.
I don't know if it works like that. I have no idea. They would have to. I really don't even know how that would work. What gives Interpol its authority? Like, it's not just the EU. It'd
A
be like
European
the UN,
Union,
right?
yeah, that is enough authority. That's huge authority.
I know, but if you pull out of the UN, like,
what
then
is you? Who cares what Interpol says then? Yeah,
Yeah.
Like if you're Russia, what
Yeah.
the fuck does Interpol have to say?
Yeah,
about
exactly,
Russia? Yeah.
that's why it's Interpol. They never. Yeah, you can't just like call up Russia and be like, hey, we need to extract this
But
guy.
the problem is there's way too many assets within the EU. There's so much art. There's so many cultural artifacts. There's so much money. There's so much assets. There's so much land. There's so much jewels. Like there's so many crazy.
It's the same, but I think they just like we cooperate with Interpol, so it's not like they don't have to come here themselves all the time. Like if they're so on their tracking and they come here, then they'll probably work with the FBI or something on it.
Of course, 100%. They're not going to come here on their own.
Yeah,
Like, you
exactly.
can't.
Yeah, because that wouldn't because you're friends with these people, so you call them first.
Well,
You
it's
always call.
community, the intelligence.
Yeah,
there's the
intelligence
intelligence
community.
community,
Yeah,
and there's a fraternity of the police force, which I don't think they don't call it a fraternity anymore because they used to call it a fraternity of the NYPD, for example, but they shouldn't.
There's a name for it. I forget what it's called.
Or maybe there's a sorority. That would be more badass if there was both a
Well, that's like
sorority
the-
and
it's like
fraternity
the-
of the NYPD. That's what should
there-
happen.
What do you mean? There's when you go for a city job, like a cop or a fireman, at least from what I know, like you could join. There's unions with there's cultural groups within the union that you could join. So if you're Italian, there's one for Italians. If you're Irish, there's one for
Yeah, and
Irish.
you get your special
Those are
little
Chinese.
badge thing, you know.
Yeah,
That
you get a
shows
little,
your
a
blood,
little extra thing, and like it's a different. Yeah, it's a community within a community type of thing.
Do you think if we were cops, we would be fast tracked to detective, or do you think we would just be kept as beat cop assholes?
No, we're too. I don't know. We're too smart.
My friend,
We're too
my friend
smart 'cause you
Carmen
have
was
to-
like,
I
apparently,
can tell
if you
how to
have
do
like
it.
baseline intelligence, you're going to be pushed to be detectives because like they can't afford not to do it to you. You know.
No, not necessarily. That's not how it works. But so like my dad was a detective. My one of my uncles was a detective. My dad's brother just didn't go that route. It's two different routes. Like you start off like a regular cop or whatever, and you can either stay more as a cop, more in like the office type of thing by becoming like a sergeant and a lieutenant, captain or whatever. Like that's and there's so many things to do within that. But the detective is like almost separate, but within the police. It operates within the police department, but like it's its own thing.
Yeah,
Has
because
its
they
own
have they
hierarchy.
have an entire different job than just regular policing.
Right. So it's like there it's separate. Like it's two different directions.
They're
you can go to.
investigators.
Yeah.
Like
nobody
like
cares,
if you go to Hong Kong, they have chief inspectors and they have police officers. You know.
yeah.
and shit
So like
that-
that's his police officers.
Or like the inspectors.
Arrive on scenes and get them ready for detectives, type of thing.
and they just happen to run into shit like every once in a blue moon.
Well, the regular B cops are the ones who are supposed to, or on the street who are like supposed to recognize
and they call in-
crime. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the detective is the one who figures it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly,
But you're not pushed to be a detective.
if I were a cop, like I would care less about like, you know, the standards of like the policing job and more about being a good team member. Because I think that's more important as a cop in New York City is to be more down with your precinct than to be down with like the NYPD. Because like, I don't know, the NYPD is so broad and so like
No,
so,
they're all brothers, like or brothers and sisters, whatever. Like they're not.
think so?
Absolutely, yeah.
you don't
Doesn't
think
matter.
it's too dispersed nowadays? Because internal
No, like,
affairs
there's
has gotten their hands in like they're now joint task forces with Homeland Security and all sorts of weird shit, and they're really like I don't think NYPD has each other's backs as they used to.
Maybe not the way as they used to. But they
Now
still
it's
do.
more. It used to be more like the National Guard. Now it's like the Army. You know
Like-
how like the National Guard is more like nepotistic and the Army is more like nihilistic. You know.
So like in the Wire, there's like there's like there's good police. It's a thing they'll say like when someone is actually good at the job, like that's and they recognize that in each other. But they also know the guys who just aren't good police 'cause they were taught wrong.
What about the guys
And
that are
they
good at the
tolerate
job but are just bad people? Because there's a lot of those.
That's called being a detective, man.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can't fault these people because they're good
no,
at their
'cause they're-
jobs.
yeah, and
but-
they're exposed to all this
and
terrible
and
shit.
if they weren't needed, they would be. You think their bosses want to deal with these guys? No, they don't. They don't want to deal with this fucking like asshole. And we're not talking about a hotshot who does John. No, we're talking about this guy who puts dots together so good, but then he's like such a scumbag. Like he's not a good person, you know. And like you can't afford to lose that because people who can actually put the dots together that correctly are rare.
Well, yeah, it's just good police work, and that's why like the behavior of detectives historically is heavily ignored because it's just like, hey man, if you're good at it, if you're good at it,
It
like,
overweighs it out. The benefits outweigh the cons. It's true.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you talk about a good detective who happens to like cheat on his wife and has a family, and
They
like,
all
a lot
do.
of money. Yeah,
yeah. No, that's just part of what it is. They all do.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's but like it. Think about it. Like you're exposed to like all this terrible shit all the time, and also like
And your wife is nagging you about bullshit. and
you're never
like-
you're
and
never
it's
home. You're
different
never
from-
home.
And it's different from being a veteran because you don't get the same honors. Like it's not like you're seen as like a knight from like in a
I think
farm.
detectives are respected. They're not treated like cops.
Not the same. It's not the same.
Well, it's true because detectives are also like they can trick you into or getting
They
yourself
they
arrested.
can't walk into a barber in uniform because they're not usually in uniform. And then
We
the
never in
barber,
uniform. Yeah.
the barber doesn't like look at the detective who doesn't flash his badge and be like, "Oh, let me give you a free
Well,
haircut."
but that you're not supposed to like. That's the thing. Like
As a detective, that's not your job. Is
You're
to
not
cash
to
in on that
advertise.
shit.
Yeah, you're not meant to advertise it all the time because you. How can you be observing if people
you're-
are?
yeah,
people
yeah.
know that you're observing them all the time.
It goes against the ethos.
Yeah, the only time that you present it is when you're at a crime scene where like that's it. Otherwise,
Whereas, like there's different sections. I'm sure in every police force, metropolitan police force, like Vice.
well, no.
Narc-
See, so like in New York City, we have like there's so many precincts.
Well, we're
It's-
too militarized for that shit. Because now it's literally just a
Well-
military like task force based.
yeah, like it's so like my dad was a detective at the same precinct in Brooklyn for his entire career, and he became detective, and like it's detective squad, like that's it, like it's all crimes come through them because they control a certain area. They're like it's
Because when
there's so many precincts, like everything's divided up.
And when it's that congested, it's better off. You're better
you
off.
can't
just
you can't have departments for certain types of crimes. You don't have enough guys to even house that or
No.
do that.
I think like
So like, yeah, like
I think being a oh sorry, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, but like in cities like Baltimore or something like that, Baltimore is much smaller.
I had a different example in mind, but go ahead. What about Baltimore?
It has-
like with The Wire.
Yeah, which is The Wire. Oh,
Well, I mean, that's a great show. Yeah,
it's the best show
sick
ever.
show.
It's the
Yeah.
best show ever. But
I
like
hate The Shield because it tried to be The Wire. It's like fuck you.
no, The Wire is just fucking cool. Everything
Yeah.
about it it's so right. It portrays
Yeah.
everything in an honest way, and it's just the coolest fuck. It's the best thing. But
And the guy gave a shit. The guy who made this show gave a shit.
he was a detective. He was a cop in New
cared.
York though, which is weird why he picked Baltimore. But like yeah, it was written by him and another guy who.
Well, that's because I think it was because of the other guy. The other guy had the real juice on like the actual scene in that city. You know, he was like,
So one guy was a cop, then the one guy creator was like a cop, I think, then a teacher, and the other one was in politics or something like that. So that's why it's whatever. I was. Just
but
gonna
one of
go
them
back
was an
to-
academic cop, and the other. Either way, the academic cop was like probably like I did my shit in New York City, but then he, as a teacher, he probably like came across cases, and he was like, "What the?"
Well, that's part of the show about too is how
He's like, how do you
it-
not see
how
the patterns, guys?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just how it recycles.
I bet
like-
as a New York City cop, he was just more competent than like the Baltimore cop mind. He was like, "You guys don't see this. I can make a show out of it."
Well, that's it. That's why even like my dad, who is a cop detective and hates cop shows because they're just bullshit.
He was like, "How did the
usually.
Baltimore cops not see this?" You know, like, yeah.
No, he's watching. He's like that because that's what it is. Like there's just guys, and he said that there's guys who get it and there's guys who don't.
Yeah.
And they showed us a good job of showing that. But I was going to say,
Do you get people? That's
Yes.
really it.
Yeah.
That's do you understand people
Yeah.
as a detective?
yeah,
Because if you understand
'Cause-
people, then the game's easy.
because it's not about like looking for crime, making crime, and just arresting people. It doesn't do anything. It's
Also, as if you're a cop, like a detective specifically, who understands people, you could do the job however you want. You could be an
That's-
asshole. You could be by the book.
No,
You could-
that's
if
exactly
you
it, too.
understand
Yeah, you
people,
really-
you could do whatever the fuck you want as a
Yeah.
detective because that's really what it is. It's about how you deal with people.
yeah, and you don't like you're technically like also like getting paid. You're working all the time.
Yeah.
Like you could just leave the office. You don't tell any. You don't have to tell anybody. Like you'll have to type it up later.
It's like, dude, you're.
That's
first
when
of
you're-
all,
that's when you're in the
I'm gonna
office.
leave at 3 p.m. because I know you're gonna call me at 4 a.m. to
Yeah.
tell me to come in for some shit. So I'm gonna do this.
Well, that's it. No, it's more so once you get a case. Like all right, you got a case. Like you're gonna work it.
You give me what, like a week and a half to. All right, fine, week and a half. I'm gonna have to go and eat this lobster dinner with.
Well, it's not like that. It's like you could like so you get a case, and like the best cases are solved usually. They have to be solved immediately. Like it makes sense, wouldn't it? Because like the further away you get from when something happened, the information,
The more
so, like,
distorted it gets.
yeah. So you get a case and like you're right on that. You work that. You do everything you can. You go interview people. You go to the crime scene. You go type things up, and then
Consolidate your information.
yeah, then you bring the person in, you arrest them, then now you have a court date with them at some point in the future. And then you get another case, you start working that immediately, and then
Eventually it
it's
gets
taking a
into-
little bit longer. It's been like 3 or 4 days, and now you have another case. Because it doesn't matter. Like you don't
Now
get
it's
a,
juggling
yeah,
cases.
it's not like you get a new case when you're done with yours. It's like no, it's when they come in and it's
But
your
you don't
turn.
think you'd be good at that? I think I'd be pretty good at that because, like, I think
I think I'd be really good at
I
that.
think I could
I just don't want to
min-
be a fucking cop first.
I think I could min max the time. It's just the thing is, the reason why you and I could justify, like, I think I could do that job, but I'm not going to because we like to think that there's a lot of other people who could do that job and that are willing to. That's our
because-
fantasy. That's our fantasy.
So like I've seen like my dad like the way he's talked about it because when I was a kid he wouldn't talk about it. Like there's guys who do talk about like work and like I guess police work and guys that don't. My dad never did. But like when he would tell me stories like and telling me how he like knows certain things or how like things he like how not easy it is but like what you pick up on and what like becomes automatic to you and the difference between like working with like shitty detectives and good ones.
What
Like
about
you could tell, like there's guys
how
who
would
like guys are just like there's guys who are just lazy. They like you have to if you don't care, you'll close shit all the time, but it won't be.
Yeah, but how would you contrast that with like say working as some policing officer or agency, like as a sheriff or marshal or a cop, a metropolitan LA cop, whatever. Because in LA and California, it's different. Like guys there actually get away with robbing banks and killing people while doing it. So it's different for them. You know, like they actually justify carrying around 2 pistols, not just one, and also maybe a rifle. You know, like their own personal shit. Like they have a lot more leeway because what are people allowed to do in California? They're allowed to like open carry. They're allowed to carry.
Are they?
California,
Yeah.
not LA. I'm sure LA is like yeah. LA is probably like,
Yeah, that's really what I was thinking about.
no, but outside of LA,
Yeah.
like the outer
I
counties,
the mountains
yeah.
and stuff, I guess. Yeah.
And like think about it, like like I'm pretty sure most of like the successful bank robberies happen in California.
Well, like
Could you imagine
back in the day?
I'm just saying, could you imagine like I'm
way
not saying
back in the day.
No,
Whoa, what do you mean,
no. I'm
Like
saying
what? I don't know.
like
Bank
nowadays,
robberies
like in the Valley of California,
bank
like
robberies don't sell anymore.
what do you mean?
Like I feel like they're not like like not on the news as much. Like it's
No,
not
no,
like-
no. I'm saying like meth heads could literally get high, get tacked up, and it's like a lot of them have military training even, and they could literally go rob a community local bank and get the fuck away with it.
Well, I mean, the best way is to rob a small branch.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they'll do like local branch banks and shit. Like they'll hit it and they'll
Yeah.
get gambling
Remember, like, the
gambling dens too. Like that's another big hit. Like dude, this
But that's why the mob was always involved in like gambling.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta protect them.
So what I'm saying is like New York is like almost more organized, not just in law enforcement but also crime. Whereas California,
Well, yeah,
is like,
it's because
Yeah.
it's called organized crime.
yeah,
It's
not California
that's
crime.
why.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not California crime where it's crazy and people could still get away with shit like
There
robbing
is
fucking-
honestly there is a bonus. Not that I'm
I think
endorsing.
I think New York policing is more political, whereas
100%.
West Coast policing is more
It's-
militarized.
I think it's all political. But
No,
I think it's all
I think-
political. But the further you get away from like
The DC, the White House.
yeah, like the further out west you go, the further you get from like the center of the federal government, the more like then you get the good old boys.
Yeah.
Like the Italian mafia is like not gone, obviously, but diminished. But their good old boys are still running everything else.
First of all right.
in the South,
when it
and
comes
the
to the
West.
American mob infrastructure and the economy, like we can't just look at the Italians because like there's
there's the
there's
good
a
old
way
boys.
big, no. There's also the Kansas City Irish boys. You know those mobs. They're fucking hardcore.
Well, there has always been like
And let's not forget Canada, because Italians and Irish mobs love.
Yeah.
They love because it wasn't like they were making shit out of Canada, but when you bring something from Mexico to Canada, and if you could bring it the most efficient straight line way, you could jack up that price to whatever.
they're smuggling shit. Yeah.
So
Especially if one economy is
so
stronger.
I mean,
than
if
the
you
other.
look at like KC mob, like Kansas City mob, like most of them are Irish or Polish, you know, or like you know like some
what era is this?
what
What era?
like early 2000s, late 90s.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's different because it's not. Well, that's different because like the Italian mafia doesn't have the control it had.
No, yeah. Italian,
Yeah.
no, Italian mafia was like regality. You know, like royalty when it came to crime.
Yeah,
like,
'cause they
because
all-
America was a different place back in like the fucking 1900s, like you know, like the early 1900s, right?
The early 19th century. Like
It was a way different place, like where industrialization was first taking hold. And who were a lot of the people that were like not
Irish,
involved?
Jews.
No. The people that were involved with the industrialization were all Germans and Slavs and shit.
Oh.
But the people that were involved with the culture
The
and
people
the
that were
artistry,
working.
the religion and the churches,
Yeah.
they were all like Catholics and shit. You know,
Well,
like
yeah,
Roman Catholics. And stuff.
that started in the 19th century, but that's it. Like there was in New York, there was other ethnic group mobs. There was a Jewish mob. There was an Irish mob. There was
Well, let's not forget the Chinese mob. Those guys were serious in
Yeah.
America for a long time, probably
Yeah.
longer than like a lot of crime families nowadays.
yeah.
The
And-
Asian mobs have had their fucking claws in this fucking country since the railroads were first being built.
Well, yeah, because crime follows. Like San Francisco was
Literally, it was
San
Asian
Francisco
mob.
is like a whole
like
different.
no
like,
Asian can shit about like you know how black people can talk about slavery. Asians can't do it because we know it was our own people that sold us to
yeah.
It wasn't. There's no qualms about it. It's like we know 100%. There's no, like, there's no like distortions about it. Like we know it was the Asians that sold Asians to Americas to work as slaves. Like, so that's why Asians don't bitch about slavery and bigotry as much.
It is. You think about that, like it's
Asians really complain about
Well,
racism the least out of
as far
all
as
minorities.
American slavery goes, they didn't like Asians didn't really. There wasn't a big immigration boom
Well,
for
because
the
Asians were
Chinese
dealing with
until
slavery in their own country to a whole nother level.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I was just thinking more of like the American thing, but yeah, because slavery's always existed. I mean, it exists everywhere. It's just at one point the people were like, well, owning white people. That sounds
Well,
wrong.
no, I think what really happened is there was one race that just happened to be better than the other races at colonizing and enslaving.
It was never about race. Like there was racism as we know it.
First of all,
racism as we know it didn't, at least more so in the Western world. I can't speak exactly.
I want you to know there's hierarchies amongst white people as well. There is
Well, that's
one,
what I'm. That's
there's
what I'm,
one
that's-
group of white
That's
people.
what I'm getting at.
Yeah, there's one group of white people that's honestly better at everything than although.
Well, it's no. It's
Do you know who it is?
Yes.
Which one?
It's WASPs, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
No.
Yeah, they're the
No.
they're the white people. They are the white people. They invented being white.
No, it's
Yeah.
you know who I'm thinking of?
Who?
Guess.
No, who are you thinking of?
The Germanics, the Nordics, the fucking Norsemen. Those guys.
Well, they're
those
well,
were the real.
well, they're,
Dude,
well,
we're
they're
talking
the reason,
about
well, they're the
Einstein.
reason.
We're talking about philosophers. We're talking about the people who truly built Western society. I mean, even because they have a direct. You talk about Aryans. You think Aryans just relate to Germans? No, the Indians were also basically the most spiritually elite people were Aryans. Now, the brown Aryans went to shit. They literally live in shit. Look at India. But the white Aryans, the Germanics. They built UFOs and shit because they were in contact with 4D dimensional. According to Hitler and Goebbels and all these other guys. Yeah,
I was trying to talk about some serious bastard.
that was pretty serious. And in my
Well,
opinion.
it was heavy.
You look at Operation Paperclip. There's a reason why over 1,600 Nazi scientists ended up founding NASA.
Yeah, they did. Well, that was more about let's get to them before the Soviets get to them, because we were collecting scientists.
But that should tell you something about them if everyone wanted to get to them.
Well, because you know what? Because also they had no rules too. They had less rules about how to test and do things.
But they've always been like that, even since the Vikings.
Okay,
the
but
Viking culture.
but I'm not talking about genetic superiority.
I'm not talking about genetic superiority either. I'm talking
you're-
about cultural superiority.
No, but I'm talking about the idea of what white people.
I mean, look
are,
at
what
Mongolians. I think Mongolians could have and they do give Germans a run for their money because look at the Chinese. You think the Chinese is Chinese? No, they didn't. Chinese excellence is not just from Chinese. It was also from the Mongolian influx.
Yeah, well, China was so.
It's basically the most warlike, predatory tribes have influenced the craziest civilizations that we know today. Like the Mongolians and the Germanic Vikings, the most brutal people, literally gave us the foundations for what? Effective communism, nuclear weapons, particle physics, quantum physics.
Right. But what I was talking about before just was about the people who invented being white, not being superior to other people.
The Anglo-Saxons.
Yeah.
First of all,
and the part Viking also.
Your concept of whiteness, which I don't disagree with, honestly. You know where it really stems from?
That's where it stems from.
No, you know where it really stems
Wasps.
from? No, it comes from the family. I'm talking before that.
I'm talking more recent.
The earliest branches of civilization, Anglo-Saxon culture, what really elevated it was their ability to tame horses. They were the horsemen. They were
No, you're confused. There was there was horses before that.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying, what connects the Aryan race, for example, the Aryans between.
Well, I'm not talking about Aryans. Aryans aren't white. What I'm talking about, the modern idea of white is.
Well, first of all, can we agree that civilization started with the domestication of animals?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
So that's
Eastern civilization, Europe, Asia, Africa, but not.
Well, that started in steppe culture.
Not Western civilization though.
But it did. But all right. So what happened was, I mean, we all know about how the Roman influence extended all the way to the Britannica lands, right?
Yeah.
And then they got separated, isolated, cut off because of the Dark Ages.
Well, the empire eventually fell.
Yeah. And then the Dark Ages happened.
Yeah, but that's after.
That is how the far Western Europe culture developed, was because the Roman Empire fell. They got separated between Rome and them, and you got a bunch of savages, which is how the Pendragon family, King Arthur, rose to power because he was of Romanic descent. That's what gave him a lot of his regal lineage, according to mythology and legend.
I was saying, like, you know, King Arthur isn't real, right?
No,
I was like, wait.
No, I don't mean to say that. I'm just referencing.
I once watched this video where this guy, because it's like a history based channel, and like he was describing like the legend of King Arthur as if it was real. And like he was like bugging me. I'm like, he's like saying this like it happened, and then the end of it was like an April Fool's thing.
With the idea of Excalibur and King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table, like that may not be word for word truth, but there was historical truth behind the idea of Britannica.
Hey, some watery tart handing out swords is no basis for a system of government.
No, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is like there was a precedence for Britannica rule that had Roman lineage. Like there were some of those Britannica rulers that still had.
Well, at first, yeah, but so
of course, and then there was that, and then comes your favorite era of Europe, which is like literally the medieval times, where it's like
it's my favorite, but I do.
It's my favorite era because that shit was crazy, dude.
Yeah, but it's more like.
There was all this like romantic drama, military drama, political drama, cultural. It was all crazy, dude. It was fucking awesome. And they all wore crazy clothes.
I told you all right. I told you I watched this movie. I think it's.
You're like, all right, they didn't wear. It wasn't that crazy.
I watched. I think this movie. I think it's The Name of a Rose, but it's with Sean Connery, and it takes place in medieval like Italy in like the 13th century. And he's basically Sherlock Holmes, just a monk, and the murder mystery in it's pretty boring to be honest. But everything else about it is
fight scenes,
is a beautiful, everything is a perfect period piece. Yeah. Like everyone's dressed the way they should be dressed. Like it's in old castles, things look right, they talk the right way. Everyone looks fucking dirty, like they look like people who don't fucking bathe that off. Like it looks perfect, and that's. I don't know. That's
I gotta see this shit.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's just boring. The mystery isn't interesting.
What I'm thinking, one movie where I think about is one of my favorite medieval movies. It was Timothée Chalamet. It's called The King, I think.
The Name of a Rose. Yeah. What's with Timothée Chalamet?
Yeah. Did you ever see that movie?
What's it? The King?
Yeah.
No.
You never saw that? It's really good. I like how that movie depicted battles where it was like it was not a good time. You know, it was like
it was pretty rough.
Yeah. It was like muddy and like most men like.
Also, if you knew like where you were,
most men died because they drowned in mud. Like they were just like getting stomped on. They were trying to get up and they just drowned. You know, like
wearing all that shit.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, war didn't sound fun then.
Yeah. And like when you got a kill, it wasn't some glorious slow motion. It was just like beating a guy.
Yeah, it was long,
it was
drawn
a
out.
Good fucking movie. You got to see this shit, man.
Do you like the realistic fight scenes?
Yeah.
I also like fantasy fight scenes.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel good, and that's how it should be. Anyway, with that, we could take a quick recess. That concludes the first part. I just gotta take a quick pee.
All right. And where do you go once you hit for a roll up? Where do you go from there, man?
Yeah, right.
Probably real. Death. He's like, well, I guess I better get married now.
I guess I better die.
Hey.
I mean figuratively.
I know.
You know, like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and that is how he feels. Not that he feels, but that is what's happening. He is dying as a person.
Mm-hmm.
To
all right. So we're on the second part, and on the same vein of what we were talking about before. Part two. Mike used to be like a Nietzsche.
Well, he had less cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's easier when you have less care. It's hard. It's hard to not give a fuck when. I mean, it's easy to not give a fuck when there are many things that you need to give a fuck about.
First of all,
it's truly hard.
I don't think Mike did anything wrong. I just don't think he got into his life thinking about the consequences as much as, say, I would have.
Yeah, and wasn't a negative way to do things at all. It's just the way he did them, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But what's important is it's not like he's one of those people hanging on to that.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying we don't know how things end up, but it's like
no, but I mean the way they're going well.
I mean, because Mike's not the only friend I know that has got married and had friends. I just know, like, out of a good number of them by now, half of them statistically are going to fuck it up.
Fuck up the child raising or the marriage?
The marriage, which
yeah, sure.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but that's Uh,
But then again, I know a lot of fucked up kids who came out of like intact marriages, and I know a lot of like well put together kids who came out of like
yeah, because it doesn't
fucked up
matter how the.
marriages.
I don't believe it matters how the marriage goes. It matters how the parents treat the children.
Well, I mean,
Like,
I believe opposite. I believe the marriage matters. However, I've seen too many examples of the opposite to know that it's true. To know to think
yeah,
that
but
it's
have
true.
you ever like hung out with a kid who where both of his parents were in his life? They were married. They lived in the same house.
Yeah, and
Forever.
I know a
Yeah,
lot of
like,
kids that are fucked up like that.
yeah, like would you want to be those people? Like, no,
No.
I'm way happier.
Exactly.
with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way
yeah.
things
No,
went
no,
with me.
this is why like I guess is my idealism in my heart, my irrational emotions that wants to think that like yeah, parents should stay together for for a more well put together kid, but that's not really true.
No, it's not true at all. It
No.
doesn't matter because it's not.
Like
Being
mentally, my brain knows that that's actually bullshit because
Yeah.
like there's too many examples of the opposite.
yeah. And like when my parents were divorced, like or there was I already had friends that were divorced parents. It wasn't weird to me at all. So, and like I understood because I've seen them.
So
and it was
basically, like if you want to make your marriage work, don't do it for the kids. Do not make your
No,
marriage
'cause that's
work
not what
for the
it's-
kids.
that's
Yeah,
not-
it's not what it's
if,
about.
like-
It's gonna do more damage to try to make it work for the kids than to just
100% because
yeah.
it's not because now it's not about your relationship with each other.
It's better to teach your kids that you made a fucking mistake with your marriage than to fucking try to keep.
I feel like it has more of a negative effect on a child to be exposed to two people who just don't like each other that are putting on a show for you and being forced.
But then again, I feel like that wasn't really. Was that really a thing in history? Like we like to think that was normal.
No,
I don't.
That's
think
the
that
American.
Was.
That's the an
I think
American
that was a
thing.
lie. I think that's an illusion. I don't think that was ever really true. I think like
I believe that's something
throughout history, like
Yeah.
if people were unhappy in a marriage, like bad things happened.
Oh
you know?
man, well yeah, because back then you could just fucking leave.
yeah, or you could kill the dude and get away
Yeah,
with it.
or you have to go that far. You could just leave, not go that far, and just And it was more about like also like things couldn't get out that far. Like if you stayed in the same town, people would like be like, yeah, he's a fucking asshole. He left his wife. He went 2 villages over.
Yeah,
No one knew who you are.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's not. And like back then too, people didn't like. I believe it was just a thing that was a marketing thing to help sell things to Americans. The whole
I'm very
the
familiar with
platonic
those
family.
tactics. Yeah.
But like before that, like people like got married and like stayed together and had kids, but like it wasn't. It's not like you. It wasn't about. People also didn't. First of all, they didn't live as long as we do now. So like,
yeah, that's a fact.
yeah, and like you didn't go anywhere. Like you lived in the same like village.
Like,
so-
I got like what? I'll be lucky to see 40. You think I want to go anywhere?
And then if you cheat on your wife, who you cheat on your wife with? Your cousin? Like there wasn't that many people in town. Her cousin. So like
I don't
she's
even
gonna
know if I'm
hear
gonna
about
eat
it.
dinner tomorrow, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You think I want to?
Yeah, I'm fucking someone else. I'm hungry. Like why would I fuck somebody if they weren't feeding me and come back?
Like, dude,
it's-
me and my wife, we have a cow who gives us milk.
and you
sometimes cheese.
and then you have kids so they could fucking work your land and your animals for you. That's it too. Like because you couldn't. Yeah, because even if you left your wife,
It
like
was
now,
more
now you
re-
have
it-
nothing.
It was more. Life was more like Age of Empires back then. You were one of those peasants who was like, when they died.
Yeah, that's just what you didn't have. Yeah. That's why there wasn't a lot of existential thinking in the Middle Ages because people were too busy being peasants.
I was a sick fuck as a kid with that.
People
game.
were too busy
I remember I was like,
working.
oh, we can make our own map. So does that mean I could create like just a large pen with wolves and like peasants and see what happens?
Oh, I've done one of those like in like with Civilization, like those like fan made maps.
Yeah, I've done horrible things to virtual people.
I've done horrible things to the virtual Queen of England several times.
Good for you.
Yeah, fuck her, that bitch.
I
Plus she's
mean,
dead.
it's not even good or bad. Morality goes out the window for me at that point. It's like at least you got to do it, to the Queen of England. you
Yeah,
know? yeah.
Fuck her.
I had no idea I was so deep in the Queen's hole.
I wouldn't want to be that deep in that Queen's hole.
Princess Diana, though, I feel bad. It's like everyone who's not actually directly related to the royal family gets shafted.
Oh, so you mean like everybody else?
Yeah.
The rest of us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's its own little inbred community
Yeah.
being a royal.
They're just the most public-facing ones. Meanwhile, like the rest of Europe.
It's like,
has,
do you have a
like-
cleft palate? I have a cleft palate too. It's like, yeah, because we're first cousins and our parents were siblings.
Yo, but the rest of Europe also, it's just way more intense than the British royal family. Like, let's be real. Like,
Well, no, it's no. Well, they're
Italy,
all related.
Dane-
Like the British royal family, like they're not even They're not really British. They're German.
or French or Italian.
No, they're German. They changed their last name during World War One.
Sterling.
No, it was Hanover, I think, something like that. So they changed it to Windsor because Hanover is not an English word.
Look, even amongst the British nobles, they understand. At least I hope they do. That their founding fathers were a bunch of fucking ruthless warlords. All those clans became dukes and archdukes.
They're all landowners, and that's what the lords are. They're technically the descendants of those landowners, and it was like a power struggle.
Do you think you could live a life as a
Crusader Kings?
Do you think you could live a life as a modern duke? I think I could. Like if you gave me one of
those.
What
do you mean? Do I think I could live that life?
It's hard. You have to dress a certain way to keep your rank. To be seen as your rank. You have to maintain your fucking household. You're going to have to deal with fucking handmaidens.
Well, no, because I'm not
deal with property. Yeah. Like that's a whole business in and of itself. It's a job. Being a duke is a job. You're an enterprise. Like in America, we have corporations. You're a CEO.
It's very
over there. You're a duke.
It's very different. Yeah, it's harder for us.
They're
to
trying
understand,
in their culture. They're trying to make it so like a Mark Zuckerberg could like rival a duke, but it's never going to happen for British culture as of now because they're apparently the way we see our top of the we see movie gods, music gods, and product gods and CEOs. They see dukes still and like archbishops and all that shit.
Well, that's a little different. It's not like
it's Europe.
Yeah, it's Europe, and that's also like why so many people immigrated from Europe to the U.S. Because
but there is still the spirit of commercialism in Europe, which is what I really respect about Europe. Europe really still does keep the feudal spirit. At the same time, they're also really about that commercial shit. Dude, I consume European shit.
Oh, so I mean, I love British and Irish comedies and shows.
Oh, I love European spirits and liquor.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
I love European. Not so much the music, but I do love.
They have better food.
Food, yeah.
Well, because all their
European food is of the quality that 1960s American food was.
No, what do you call it? Food was worse back then in the U.S.
No, dude, are you serious? In the 60s, food was way better.
No, well. Better in the sense that
no. Like if you lived in New York or worked in the industrial cities, yeah, it sucked. But if you lived in because
you were feeding your cows fucking real
dude,
food.
If you went to one of those diners and bought an apple pie for like $1.63 or 63
that's right.
cents,
somebody used actual apples.
Pie. If you and I went back in time into the 60s and ate at like a diner and paid like
the ingredients were better. They were
better.
They came from a better place,
dude.
But
did you see that? Did you see that James Franco show?
No.
All right, so there was a
not allowed to watch him anymore.
It was called 11/26/1963. When was Kennedy killed?
Sometime in the 60s, the mid to late 60s.
So this is a show about.
I'm not that Irish.
So there's a show about James Franco playing a teacher. He's divorced, right? Whatever.
Oh, during the JFK or the Bobby Kennedy one.
No, it takes place. Well, it initially takes place at JFK. It initially takes place in the modern era, but he goes to a diner. He's old. He's friends with the diner owner. Blah blah blah. And he's like, "How do I get these delicious burgers for $1.36? What's your secret?" And that's always been the mystery. But eventually, you find out that within the diner, there's a portal where you go into the closet, and then you step past a certain point, and suddenly you end up back in time before the Kennedy assassination. Like 2 years or 3 years, 2.5 years, right? So the rules are this: you go back in time, you could change whatever you want, you could do whatever. However, once you go back, right, all the changes you made will stick. But if you go through the portal again, it resets. You're never going to go you can't choose.
So you'll never enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like it's not like if you went back and you open up a bank account, put money in it, and like when you go back, you'll all of a sudden be rich. Like you'll go back to the reality you know.
No, you can do that.
So what do you mean it resets? Like I thought you were saying you go back to the reality that you already knew.
No. Let's say you go back in time to the reality you knew to make yourself rich, right?
Yeah.
Then you go back to your current time, but you were never born.
Yeah.
So then you were like, or how about this? You go back in time to make yourself.
So let's just like for the just the example like Back to the Future 2. where like
It's exactly like that. Like, let's say you prevent the Kennedy assassination, you go back to your own time, and you realize everything's more fucked up. So Kennedy had to die.
well, so you go back to the reality that you've now created, the one that you've set in motion, as opposed to the one you knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to go back through the portal and then just not do anything, and then go back to your own time.
No, then you would have to stop yourself, wouldn't you, from doing what you were going to do?
No, apparently it doesn't work like that, because it's like as soon as the you steps through the portal to go back in time, it all resets. So it's like the changes you made the first time doesn't never happen.
That's bullshit. I mean, I know that's like I think that's a I don't know. I mean, like that also just doesn't logically make sense anyway, because the time travel is impossible.
It is. Yeah, you're right. No,
But,
you're right. Because
there's like
that
Back to the
story,
Future 2 is like
that story is assuming that time travel is only isolated to that one event, and that one
right. Yeah,
space,
like it has to be
yeah.
which is always the thing. Like there must be something important about this one point.
But
in
it was
time,
just a random fucking diner, which makes it retarded. You're right.
Yeah. No, it's not that. It's just like Back to the Future 2, like is basically like Marty has to go back to 1955 like he did in the first movie, but to prevent something from happening, and like he's always avoiding running into himself because he's already been there and he's already doing things. So he doesn't want to interact with himself because that could cause another
No,
chain
but
reaction.
this doesn't work like that, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not like a device
Because-
that anyone could access. It's like you go through this portal, you go back, you
No,
make your
but-
changes, you come back, you'll see your changes, but if you do it again, they reset.
Oh, no, but it's I mean,
It gives you a good out, like narratively, I think.
but then you're like, I mean, it's a better way to write a show, but
You know what I
it's
did
just
like? What I did like is like towards the end of the show, he did stop the Kennedy assassination. However, he came back to his own time. Like, all right, so the story.
I don't like the idea of Kennedy living longer. It means a worse future.
That's funny. You don't like that, but no. The real bad part was like he goes back in time. He meets a woman, because the idea was the specific time he goes back to every time he steps in. It's years before the actual assassination, so
he can't run into himself. So it's not resetting to like his original timeline.
No,
he's just
going
making
to that
sure.
one point
But
and how it changes his timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's trying to change it in the way where it's like Kennedy doesn't die, because the guy who introduced him to the portal, he gets a heart attack. So like, first of all, like he shows in the portal, he's like, "See, it's crazy, right?" He's like, "This is how you've been selling me hamburgers for $1.36." He's like, "Yeah," I was like, "Whatever." So it's like, so it goes.
Wait,
on.
that still doesn't make sense.
And he's trying to.
He has to pay the rent and property tax now.
No. This is how he gets the ingredients, basically. Like he goes there, makes his bunch of money, and like buys a bunch of good beef, and then comes back with it.
Yeah, but still, look, let's say he's getting them for like 5 cents, and he's whatever. Sorry.
No, because he gambles. He gambles in the past.
Oh, I got you.
That's how he gets rich. And like whoever goes back in the past with the information gets to be rich. So that's how they're always.
I got you.
Yeah. So that's how he always gets it.
Because I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, but what was funny was like the guy didn't want to recruit James Franco. Like the old guy, he was already. I gotta look the show up, but he was already satisfied with like trying to do it himself. He was like, I'm gonna stop the Kennedy assassination. But the problem was every time he went back in the past and tried to like change shit, there was some force, like a car act, like there was forces trying to prevent him from doing it.
Right, like this is the true timeline. This has to happen, type of thing. Like
so, eventually, what happens is like he goes back in time and he gets cancer. So then he comes back.
He got cancer,
and
in the
he's
past?
like, he goes, So
the machine gave him
So literally,
cancer.
James Franco is like sitting with his like ex-wife. They're having a solemn conversation. The diner guy comes in. He's like, "What can I get you guys?" And he's like, "Blah blah blah." He's like, "All right, be back in a few minutes." So this is when he goes back. He steps through the portal and decides, because the time works different. Like 2 minutes in the present means like years in the past. So the time like is
Sure,
not,
yeah,
it doesn't
that's
scale.
that's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
That
So he goes back in the past. He's like, all right, like whatever. By the time I get back, like it won't even matter. But then like he gets cancer for some reason. So then he goes back to the present and he's like, oh, here's your hamburgers, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. And then she leaves and then he collapses and James Franco character is like, what's going on? And the guy's like, there's something I gotta tell you, kid. And then he shows in the portal and
He must have been vaccinated.
so this is what he explains his plan, and he's like, "I'm going to stop the JFK assassination because he was a Vietnam veteran. So in his eyes, he's like, my boys wouldn't have died if JFK never died and all that shit."
Well, that's not true. JFK started. He didn't like mobilize the way LBJ and Nixon did, but I mean,
But
he
that
started
was his,
sending us there.
But it doesn't really matter because
It
the
doesn't
diner
matter.
owner dies.
Yeah.
After he tries to recruit the James Franco,
Why
James
he
Franco's
waits
like,
so-
"No, I'm not doing this shit. You're fucking crazy. Like, yeah, I know this is real, but I'm not gonna do it." He's like, and they get into a fight. But then the next morning he wakes up and he's feeling all guilty, and he goes to apologize, and he died of a heart attack. So he's like, I got to do this now. So he goes back in time, James Franco's character, and he does the new role of trying to prevent like JFK's assassination. But the problem is he falls in love with a woman in the past, and that fucks everything up. But then it ends up where like
I feel like that'd be so easy because
she ends up dying, and then what ends up happening, he does prevent JFK's assassination, but he falls in love with a woman, has like a 2-year relationship with her. She dies, prevents the assassination. She's like, whatever, man. Like, I have nothing to do with the assassination attempt. JFK calls him personally. He's like, thank you for saving me and my wife. All that shit. Like, great, I did my job. All right, he's gonna go now. So he goes back to the town where he first had his apple pie, but now he's like way more like disheveled, and he's like, I just gotta get the fuck back to back to the future. He goes, everything's fucked up. Like everything's like destroyed. He's like the guy he initially like wished he could change. He was like, yeah, JFK started these Kennedy camps, and it turned into the bombs dropped.
Camps.
Yeah. It was like Fallout shit. And he was like, holy shit. So he goes back in time again. He's like, I gotta just not save Kennedy. So he goes back in time, but then he sees the woman that he was married to for 2 years. But then like back in the in the beginning of and he was about to like tell her everything, but then he's like stops and he's like, I'm just gonna let her live her life, and I'm gonna go back. So he goes back, doesn't change anything. Everything's back to normal. The diner owner's still dead. But then he like looks up the woman that he's married to, and she's like old. So he goes to the event that she was like speaking at. Apparently she did a lot with her life. And then he's still a young guy, and he's like flirting with her, and she was like, "Who are you? I feel like I know you." Blah blah. You know how this goes. Yeah. And that's how the show ends.
What a bunch of fucking schlock.
It is schlock. It is Hallmark schlock, but it was good schlock. Better than a lot of schlock I've seen.
I don't like that kind of schlock.
I do like the idea of saving JFK. Just you think it would work, but it doesn't.
I like. I think but I like the idea of like it being so catastrophic, like Kennedy camps.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. But like, who are they filled with though? Like,
you know what I do? Maybe it would have been anything. Maybe it's not even like. Maybe you didn't save JFK, and maybe you had coffee instead of apple pie, and maybe that.
Well, that's like the butterfly effect thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
I like that idea. Yeah, but like it's I like ideas like that. I don't mind movies or shows that do time travel things, 'cause it's especially if it's fantasy and it's not trying to pretend it's not like fantasy. Because
there were some
like,
shows that did it. There were some shows that did it that tried to pretend it wasn't fantasy.
Yeah, like I don't like that. Like,
can you think of an example? I could think of one.
Well, so I like how there is like in Star Trek, there's over the years, like in all the shows, there's like been time travel like type of things.
Damn, you thought Star Trek, but yeah, you're right. They did do a lot.
But my favorite one is the one Deep Space Nine where they it's one where they kind of like they go back into an episode of the original show, but it starts off with the temporal police interviewing Cisco because they're like, we know you went back in time, and like you can't, and because like to them in Star Trek universe, like you can go back in time, but like somebody's like there's an organization in charge of being like, well,
that
hey,
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like they're just like, why'd you go back in time? We need to know what you did. We need to know everything you did. To like yeah, so like I like that part where they acknowledge like that's like people are like, oh, why'd you go back in time? What did you do?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And by the end of the episode, you realize their actions of going back in time was actually a historical precedent. That was very
exactly. At the end of it, they're like, well,
like,
that's
really. Yeah. Come on, as time, you should know this by as time cops. Come on, guys. Like nothing happens by a coincidence.
That's
like,
why
not even time travel.
That's why my favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is Time Cop. Because he works.
That is the best way to handle time travel. Is where you
there's a police
the
organization. Yeah, but like in that movie, it's my favorite thing because like they send him back. And then he comes back and like the police captain like doesn't really like the relationship was never what it used to be. Yeah. So like he's really kind of like meeting him for the first time in a minute. And he's like, did you do what you were supposed to do? Like they didn't even know because like they're like.
And they were like, you know what I think was overrated with the handling of time travel? I think Terminator is overrated with the handling of time travel. Like they kind of like messed it up a little bit.
Well, no, because they do exactly what we were talking about, where like there is an event that is going to happen no matter what. Like
yeah, but they tried to act like you could change it.
What's the big Terminator?
In the first movie, they tried to act like you could change it. In the second movie, they tried to act like you can change it. In the third movie, they tried to act like you can change it, but the whole time you can't change it.
Yeah, and I like that. Like you don't like that? I feel like that's what you were talking about. Like
no, what I don't like is that it's not like some guy wrote T1, T2, T3 retroactively,
That's
and
well, that's true. They were all
it was
written like
always like written like
separately.
no,
Yeah.
no, wait, I said it wrong. They were all written retroactively. It wasn't like they were all written like preconceived, you know, like it wasn't like they were all written with that plan. It was all like just a reaction of now what do we think of? Like now what do we think of? It wasn't like it was all accidental.
Right, but like I feel like that also just gives you the illusion of like, well, they don't like they're like, it's not like they. So in the first movie, like they sent him back to kill Sarah Connor, so John Connor's not even born.
But they couldn't
So
do it, but John Connor
right,
was still
so
born.
that so they know they did that, and they realized nothing changed. So like, well, like clearly she can't be killed, or that's an issue.
She wasn't the issue.
Well, Reese going back is what changed that because he told her what would happen, how important she would be. But
then
like,
there was, but
but
then
I'm
there was
saying,
the,
but
there was
then
the remnants of the T1. That's what also caused
what do you mean? What are you talking about?
the arm. You remember the recovered arm in T2? That's what caused Skynet to actually gain power because they recovered technology.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because even though they deleted the thing they were going to delete, yeah. Well, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't. You're saying they were like they were written retroactively, but it still works. It still fits because like they realized
Was
they
Back to the
tried to.
Future written retroactively like that or no?
No,
It was all written as a saga, right?
no. So no, it wasn't. So one was written. 2 and 3 were filmed back to back. But one wasn't written like actually the ending of one they wrote themselves into a dead end, like not a dead end, but like they left it off like open ended just to do that. But they had to write the sequel based off the end of that movie. So at the end of the movie, like Doc, like Marty thinks everything is okay. He's with his girlfriend Jennifer, and then Doc pulls up in the.
We gotta go back.
Yeah, he's got to go back, and he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Your kids, Marty. Something's gonna be done about your kids." And then it takes off and it flies. They go into the future. Then once the movie was a success, like you need to write another one, they were like, "Well, fuck, now we have to do something with his kids." Like they didn't mean to do that. They didn't write that like
I just
together.
don't like a fucking like series of movies with time travel. It just doesn't work. You can't do that. It just shouldn't be allowed.
Making those movies shouldn't be allowed.
No. I'm saying like narratively, like you shouldn't consider that like a good choice. Like it doesn't work.
I mean, it doesn't. No, what are you talking about? Back to the Future.
I like single movies, like single self-contained movies about time travel. I don't like series of movies about time travel. I just can't. It's fucked up.
Well, that's also the point of the. So like 2 and 3 were written and filmed back to back.
Yeah.
And like
it was a genius choice for the record.
Yeah, and the ending of that is that like Doc is like too much has been fucked up because of time travel. Like that's it. We're destroying this. This is the end of it. Like this has brought us nothing but yeah, trouble, and like this can't be trusted. So like that and like that's where it was going. Like
like well, I don't mean to bring it here, but like if you think about, I mean, like there's a lot of parallels between like UFO sightings and biblical occurrences, right, or whatever, and alien sightings and whatever. What if these alien sightings really aren't from far off planets? What if they're just us from another time? Because think about it this way, right? Like, let's say within the next 50 years, historically, like,
I think
wise, what if we do discover ways to literally teleport our consciousness throughout time, space, and into different vessels, whatever? And what that means is there's going to be people in the future that travel back in time 50 years. There's people that are going to be traveling back in time 3,000 years. There's people that are going to be traveling back in time 1,000 years. They're all going to come off as very different elite genetic offshoots. Like to the humans of back then, like a 2,300 human would look like an alien, right? Or act like an alien, or a 2,300 human could convince a 1,400 human that they're from the stars or from another planet.
But
then the problem is like they could go throughout all different. Like if we discover this within the next 100 years, that means by destiny, by linear eventuality, we're going to end up colonizing different eras of time. So what if like, we think of Nephilim, we think of the Pleiadians of the modern age, we think of like something a little more antiquated, like fucking, I don't know, like the spirits and the gods, lowercase g gods. What if those are just time travelers, from a specific point in our development?
Well, I think those. So I get your argument, And
It's not an
I
argument.
agree.
I'm just
no,
it's,
not.
it's
Well,
a
I don't
theory.
mean like
It's
an
a
argument.
theory.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a theory. Yeah.
But I would apply that same theory, but instead of time travel, because I just don't think time travel is possible. I would point to interdimensional beings.
Parallel universes.
Yeah, something like that. Like somebody
So,
because the only way for those things to happen would have to bend the laws that we know of.
all right.
And
So
and
you don't think
it's-
time travel is possible?
No.
Okay, I agree. Maybe like the idea of like me and you transporting ourselves to a different time.
Especially not like back in time.
However, here's
Like-
what I think. Here's what I do think. I do think consciousness transcends linear time.
What do you mean, like consciousness, like just gets recycled, or like can move throughout time? Like, and what does that mean? Like,
I think
what does that consciousness inhabit? Like, I don't understand.
I think that you can communicate with past and future versions of yourself.
but that would mean though, like that my consciousness would inhabit like another physical body. No. So what do you mean then?
It would mean a shift in perspective. For example, right now you view yourself only as what you could do to affect yourself now, right? However, here's what you don't consider. You can do your future self favors, right?
Absolutely. And yes.
And for example, you could also support your past self. You can forgive your past self for mistakes. So you can communicate with them.
Okay. Yeah,
and the longer you do
you.
this, the stronger that bond becomes, where it's like maybe as of now you can't like your past self can't trust your present self when you can't trust your future self. But the more favors you do for your future self and the more you forgive your past self, the longer you do this, eventually your past, present, and future self are on the same team.
No, you're absolutely
and
right. Yeah.
eventually you stop becoming just stuck on this like static point in time and you become a quantum being. This is the secret. I do my future self like favors all the time. That's why I journal. That's why I work out. That's why I fucking eat the way I do. That's why I breathe the way I do. That's why I do the things I do. That's why I care about the things I do. Yeah. Because I'm doing my future self and your future self and the future selves of all the people I care about favors. Yeah. Not just like them now, and also my past self. I do my past self favors by saying like, past Chris, I know you fucked up, but I know I wasn't there for you, but now we're together.
Yeah.
And the longer I keep that bond as time goes on, the stronger
it gives stability to present Chris too.
Exactly.
So it's not like you're not thinking about how do I please present Chris right now in this moment.
No,
because the best way to do it.
Future Chris, I gotta look after.
That's the best way.
We're on the same team. Those are our most powerful spiritual guides.
Yeah.
Like, who can I trust? I know, like, I can trust. Like, and it's not just one future Chris. There's multiple future Chris.
Sure, yeah.
There's future Chris that ends up, like, becoming a transvestite. There's one future Chris that ends up going into prison.
But the things you do are leading you towards the future Chris the path that you would want to, like, where you'd like it to lead.
I used to think that. Yes, I did. I would have agreed with you, like, not even that long ago. But now I'm thinking, like, no, not even. Like, we're the illusion of like who I'm gonna that's just an illusion. It's like we're all everything together all at once, like the illusion of who I'm gonna become is bullshit too. It's like me and all the future Chris's, we're all on the same team. The prison one, the rapist one, the suicidal one, the drug addict one, the rich one, the righteous one, the saintly one, all of them. I'm on the same team as all of them.
You have to take a pretty hard fucking left turn to turn into some of those.
Of course, but I understand they're all facets of me. And this is why, because of my relationship with all the different versions.
Like suicidal Chris, prison Chris, drug addict Chris, and rapist Chris.
And rich, what about rich Chris, martial artist Chris?
Well, that's it. Like, but they'd have similar paths, some of them. Like,
but they're still all going to be me.
Sure, yeah.
So this is why, if I'm on the same team with all of them, this means I could understand anyone in the world. I can understand. I can understand a rapist. I can understand a pedophile. I can understand a criminal. I can understand a policeman. I can understand a firefighter. I can understand a doctor. Because there's versions of me
and that's how you fix things that you don't like. I feel like is
and notice how this has nothing to do with politics, ideology, philosophy. This is all to do with me.
Yeah.
And because of this,
what else can you control? But what the
my breathing, right? This is why my dad says he's like, the world would be a better place if more people thought like you, but most people will never think like you. And I told my dad, it's like, I'm not trying to make the world a better place. I'm just trying to be thankful. I'm just trying to be more grateful than I already am. Like that's it. Like I'm just trying to think of more ways to be because I don't have to be alive. If I died, would the world end? No. If I died, would the universe end? No. If we all died, would the universe end? No. So I don't have to be alive. I want to be alive. Therefore, I'm thankful because fucking I'm alive.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
know
I don't know.
that's-
You don't know
yeah.
anything else.
I know I'm alive, and
Yeah.
therefore I'm thankful. I know I don't have to be alive. You know how I know I don't have to be alive? It's because so many of my fucking friends died practically in front of my eyes, and it's like,
And it's such a random luck of the draw to just be alive. To just
yeah.
exist.
So like, I
And
don't take that for
It has
granted.
nothing to do with your.
And all these pissed off people with politics, I think their problem is they think they need to be alive. They think their culture needs to be alive. They think their families need to be alive. They think their kids need to be. No, the truth is, none of us need to be
Do
alive.
you think it's funny that there's people who can't swim, even though like by like definition, like that's why you exist. Actually, it's because you were the sperm, the fastest one to get to the egg.
No, I do believe in epigenetic effects. I believe, for example, I can't float because I just don't have enough. Like I don't, my bones are just shaped a certain way. I really do
I
think
can
that
teach you. You don't know how to swim. You don't know how to float.
I know how to float. So the way I float is I just relax every muscle in my
Yeah,
body.
that's what you do.
And then I
You do the
float.
back one. favorite
However,
one.
but when I look at like people who can actually like really swim, like I can never, like, you know those people who could like stay like head above shoulders. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
do that?
yeah.
I can't
Really?
do that. But what I can do is like lay on my back flat.
To me, that's
and,
I taught one of my friends in auto swim. Like that's how I taught him. Like first, like to understand buoyancy and like
yeah.
so I taught like the whole lay back thing and just
Relax every single muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
relax. You go back. You make sure everything's kind of even.
Yeah.
And like won't get like water will come up here, but
But
your
it's like
nose
you'll
will be
still
fine.
yeah.
Your nose and mouth will be
No, I
fine.
know how to do that, and I also know how to doggy paddle. But when it comes to like the actual swimming, like some people are
It's
real.
Well, to
No,
me,
no,
it's
no.
it's very because I've done it for so long and I did a lot as a kid. So
Oh, okay. So you're like a trained swimmer.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
That's good.
I've rescued 3 people
As a
from,
lifeguard.
No, I wasn't a lifeguard. I once noticed my brother and my stepsister at the time were gotten too far out of the beach and like were like needed help, and I swam out to get them and I pulled them to like we're like when like the buoys they have to cut off certain sections. So I'm like, just fucking take this and pull yourself back. But like I went and got them.
I feel like
I
because you
once
did that,
with,
it made them like it made them worse people.
what?
Yeah.
No, that's not nice. What do you mean made them worse people?
No, I feel like
They're not bad people.
I feel like you have such a big heart that everyone you help just
Well, it wasn't dramatic for me. It wasn't like it wasn't like it was raining and like the waves were going crazy. Like I just like they
no,
were
but
weak
you
swimmers.
got to understand that would have been dramatic for other people.
I know, yeah. Oh yeah, sure. But I don't. Whatever. I can't help myself. I can't help but be like that. Like
I'm just saying, like, look, I agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
if I were in your situation, I would have done the same thing. But I'm just saying, like, in that situation, if
there's
you
people
and-
who freeze up. There's people who
yeah.
put themselves.
You know what? This reminds me of a Louis C.K. bit, right? He
Hmm.
said, like, all our most evil thoughts usually end up in a series of course, but then maybe.
Mhm.
Of course, but maybe. So, a good example of this, like, of course, we have to look after food allergies. Of course, we have to make sure, like, kids who have peanut allergies don't fucking die from accidentally eating a treat.
Yeah.
You know, we have to, like, label things correct. Of course, we have to do that.
Sure, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then the evil comes with but maybe if eating a nut kills you, maybe you're supposed to die.
Yeah. It's. I mean.
Like, come on, like, that's a good one. If you and I were sober, we would laugh at this, but we're too
No.
jaded and like cynical
Way
right
too- yeah,
now.
way too
Yeah,
jaded.
yeah.
But no, like it's like that's like people who like who think things like autism whatever hasn't existed until we started.
I don't think autism's
So-
real. I'm sorry. I don't believe in autism.
I would talk about what I would talk about first.
Okay.
People that think that like autism didn't exist before we started giving people vaccines, or they think cancer didn't exist until the industrial age. It's like no, like there was like people with genetic defects or whatever, and things were born all the time, but they just didn't live. Like women used to like give birth to like 6 or 7 times, but only like 3 kids would make it to adulthood. Like that was
That's a real thing. Yeah.
yeah. Like
Cancer
people
and
were
shit.
like people who were disadvantaged in something.
Yo, but autism is.
Were weeded
just,
out.
I just don't think autism is real.
I don't understand why. It's a chromosome issue. That's something that you can
Wait,
quantify.
is it a chromosome issue? Because
Yeah, isn't it?
No, there's plenty of people with autism who have no chromosome issues.
So things like people with social issues, you mean?
No, there's
just-
plenty of people with autism who don't have social issues.
Well, if autism's not real, I don't understand what you mean then.
Here's why I don't think autism is real.
Autism also is very general.
Can I just well, this
Sure, yeah, I'm sorry.
That
Yeah,
has to,
yeah.
The reason why I don't think autism is real because there is not one quintessential quality that makes a person autistic. Which means like you could point at a person who's like
Well,
crazy.
for someone to have Down syndrome, there is one thing to point at, but like
Autism does not have that.
You're right, 'cause
that's
it's so
why I
broad,
don't
but
think
it's
I think-
very broad.
I'm sorry. I think it's bullshit. It's not real.
it's a blanket term.
The
It's not that it's
reason
not
the
real.
reason why it is real, quote unquote real, is
Okay.
because people tie their identities to autism.
Well, that
and they
is true.
expect like society to actually change based on that identity. Whereas people with cancer or blindness,
That's people
or
with
like
victim complexes, though. That's not
no,
just
no. But what autism might entirely just be a victim complex. It might is literally. All right, look. If there is not one
Does
quintessential,
every person that you know that identifies
Chris,
as autistic
basically,
in
Chris,
one,
I'm saying if you tell me right now you're autistic, there's no way I can argue with you against it.
100%, yeah.
So you can't say that about other like clinical diagnoses except for like autism. That's why I think it's bullshit.
Oh, it's right because it's diagnosed. Yes,
And they say it's
So-
a spectrum. So they'll like let me give you an example. Like let's say there was a syndrome called brown armism, right? You have like brown hair and long arms. And then someone's like, well, that person has brown armism, but they have short arms but brown hair. And it's like
to say it's a spectrum.
Well, it's a spectrum.
To
Yeah.
say it's a spectrum is like sexuality is a spectrum. But so what you're saying is at the very basis of it, it exists. So that means we're all autistic.
Yes.
Everyone's autistic, but there's just
Either everyone's
variations.
autistic or no one's autistic.
yes.
But then if you
Yeah, yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
autistic people are going to
'cause-
be like,
'cause
no.
Well, to say autism isn't real.
But then you try to grill them on that, and they'll just call you an evil person. You know, you
there's-
can't do
but
that.
there-
You know?
Well, no, but like, yes, there's definitely people I met that like
basically,
will
logically,
do something and
autism-
be like, oh, I'm autistic.
Logically, autism is frighteningly faulty. It's like mechanically, autism just doesn't fucking make sense, which is very fucked up.
Autism
You know what?
Too
You know
much,
what?
too much of a blanket term.
Another example is Judaism, like being Jewish. Like people think Jewishness is an ethno religion. It's not. The ethno religions don't fucking exist.
No, like
I'm
the-
sorry.
the
It's a
Jews-
fucking religion.
The Jews of like Jesus' time, 2,000 years ago,
It
those Jews
doesn't
don't
fucking exist. It doesn't
Yeah.
fucking exist. So the
Yeah.
people who say,
Judaism is different. It's,
but that's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what it's the
It's
same kind of thing.
an
It's the same
identity.
kind of thing with autism. It's an identity thing. So like
Yeah.
when people say it's like I'm a blood Jew, it's like, or they say like I'm a Jew. It's like my brother in Christ. You don't eat kosher. You don't wear a kippah. You don't pray. What the fuck is so Jewish about you? Fucking jack shit.
Well, I mean, like,
Because you and I know real Jewish people.
sure, but also like,
I could be a real Jew if you're circumcised. I'm circumcised. So you and I could both be actual real
they'd
Jews.
snip us again, right?
Whatever. But you and I can be. Like anyone could be a Jew. And like if you don't agree with that, you're part of the problem.
Not everyone can be every type of Jew. There's so
No,
many
but
certain
anyone
types.
but anyone can be a Jew. Not everyone could be a Sephardic Jew. Not everyone could
Right,
be a
yeah,
Mizrahi
but
Jew.
that's
Not
but also
everyone
the
could be a
thing,
Bukharian Jew.
right?
You know?
But
anyone could be a Jew.
But also, like at one point, like that was a completely part of your identity. Like yes, like you were a Sephardic Jew, which is like a German Jew.
But now we're fighting
live in
wars over
Germany,
it, so
but
we gotta
you
let
would
it go.
live- you
We
would
gotta
live-
let it go,
you would-
man.
Yes, I agree. But you would live in Germany, and your village would be for German Jews only, and you would wear clothes to show everybody else that you're.
But you have the
Jewish.
same shit with
Yeah.
Muslims and Christians.
They don't all wear the same thing. It's different. It's not. Because the whole point of
Do you know
Christianity,
why it's
the
different?
whole point of Christianity,
No, it's different because Jesus was a Jew. That's why the Jews are special. Because the Jews.
that's why the Jews are special to Christians, but that's not
No,
why.
no. Basically, I'm saying it's not in the blood. It's in the word and the practice.
Well, that's Christianity. That's what Christianity preaches. That
This is
doesn't-
why the
that, like,
Jews
that
ha- this
the,
is why
the
the-
Jews'
this is why
dream
Jesus-
it wasn't just for Jewish people. It's for everybody.
I'm just saying this is why Jesus was traumatic for the Jews. You know, because they realized it wasn't in the blood through Jesus. Like, and they couldn't accept it. You know,
yes, they couldn't accept it because it's not what they had.
And this is what I'm saying. This is where the Jews are wrong. They view themselves as the chosen people of God when Jesus was the one who said, "You're fucking wrong, dude. Every human is the chosen because we're all God's children, you fucking dumbass." And the Jews just can't fucking accept that. And this is what this is
I mean,
where this is why I say.
but I mean, also like it's,
You know what did make the Jews special is that the Jews did things. They prayed. They didn't eat certain things. They did eat certain things. They followed certain patterns. They didn't do fucking like emotional kowtowing. They did.
no, but
this is what
their
made
culture,
them.
their culture has lasted longer
Look,
than
all I'm
anyone
saying
from
is
their
that
time.
what got distorted is they thought eventually that it was their blood, their Jewish blood, that made them chosen by God. No, it was what they did, their word, their practices, their patterns. That's what made them chosen. And once they lost sight of that, they were no longer chosen. But Jesus did figure it out, because it wasn't just about the Jews, and it wasn't just about the Buddhists, and it wasn't just about Buddha and Jesus. There was some cross-referencing, connecting thread where it all showed, like, listen, if you just maintain harmony between mind, body, and soul, and that was the thing that all the religions touched on, but no politics or warfare or tribalism was ever able to touch, was the fact that there was a secret third thing. Everyone was focused on the mind and body. I could think, I could feel, I could do things, but the soul aspect was lost. And maybe we knew it once in prehistoric times with Atlantis, with fucking, I don't know, like crazy ancient advanced civilizations that we will never ever be able to confirm in our own lifetimes, whatever. What I do know is that Jesus probably touched back into it. Buddha probably touched back into it.
Well, Jesus is, to Buddhists, was probably a Buddha.
Yeah.
That's how I view
and
him,
to
yeah.
Jesus, Buddha was probably like an angel, you know, or whatever, or like.
Well, there's different. Well, no, he was like the Buddha of his time. Like there can't be two Buddhas at once.
But everyone, either way, everyone, even amongst Buddha, like as a Buddha, it's like nothing matters, blah blah. We're all the same. But it's the same thing. It's like we're all
living in harmony.
We're all
like,
the source of the same energy.
Yeah.
Jesus, we're all children of God.
Yeah.
And
Buddhism is closer to like Jesus' teachings, honestly.
All I'm saying is this
modern
is
Christianity.
This is all the Jews that I've seen really end up fucked up are the ones who were very like militant about it, who are the ones who are very like genetic about it. Like,
well, that's that. I mean, but that's like nationalism. That's
exactly.
Yeah, but
like
the other thing, which is very true, is that they're like the Jews existed as a cultural identity.
The line of Shem is was canonically a real thing, right?
Well, there's like the tribes of Israel type of thing. There's different political groups, but ever since
there's just a gap in our understanding, because Socrates touched upon this. There was a civilization that was more advanced than what we have now, that existed before, and a flood happened. We can all agree a flood happened.
Well, the flood story, it appears in like different
a bunch. It appears in everything.
Yeah.
We can all agree.
The
younger and
at one point some great flood did
Yes.
happen and had. A
we
big
literally have
effect,
scarring upon our earth to show that that happened.
The Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we know that happened, and who knows what the fuck exists, because that flood had the capacity to destroy everything, and who knows if that flood was actually natural. We can't confirm that.
Well, I don't know if it obviously was natural, because
we can't confirm if the flood was natural. We cannot.
We know there was a flood. Well, we don't know when something like that could have happened, or like we can't.
But there's clearly a distinct possibility where it was engineered.
It could have, yes. Engineered by who?
Well, all right. I'm gonna start.
Because depending who
I'm
you read,
I'm gonna start more narratively, and let's look at the Bible. Like, what happened? The angels came down. They bred with humans. God said.
That's not what happens.
With the Nephilim in the Book of Enoch.
Oh, that's not the Bible.
I mean, the Book of Enoch is clearly biblical, though. Like,
well, that's not. That's
why do they admit? Why do we admit the Book of Enoch? What the fuck?
Because there's it contains Christian and Jewish mysticism, which is not part of the general narrative.
I mean, the Jews don't shy away from mysticism.
Sure, they do.
No, they don't.
Well, yeah, the Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism. And
yeah, they don't shy away from that.
Most Jews don't yet. Like, you can't read that if you're like most Jewish denominations.
That's
read
not
the
true.
Kabbalah. That's absolutely true.
No, the real gateway behind the Kabbalah is you have to be.
The Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism.
First of all,
it's about energy.
No, they
Yes,
limit
it.
it. No, I'm saying it's not forbidden. You have to follow criteria. For example, you have to be around your 40s. You have to be married, and you have to have kids. You have to already have married. And have
that's
kids.
how you perpetuate the Jewish culture and race.
And then they allow you to explore mysticism and Kabbalah.
It's not approved reading in most denominations.
Of course, because they're not going to show it to you as a fucking 20-year-old who's not married or whatever.
No, they don't show it to you at all. They
do show it to you.
They do not. They discourage it. there's denominations of Judaism that are more open to certain things. Like there's Jewish denominations.
No, no,
that
no.
are open.
I'm not talking about nowadays. I'm talking about traditionally. Kabbalah was really only introduced to you once you already have procreated, created life, created marriage.
That was never a major
Established
part
yourself.
of Judaism. There was a sect of Judaism, like Judaism
No,
too,
I
as
agree
we
with you
know
on
it.
that.
Yeah,
I'm just
Judaism
saying.
too, as
I'm
we
just,
know it, is a collection of different things from different times, from different cultures that became part of that. But
I'm just saying generally Kabbalah wasn't introduced to adolescents and kids and like young adults. Like it was introduced to you once you actually establish your estate.
what's something you would seek out? It's I think we're misunderstanding. Like the Kabbalah is not like most denominations of Judaism are not okay with that. They haven't.
No,
been.
no. First of all, I'm
There
not
was
going by
like,
Kabbalah. I'm saying what I'm talking about is just general rules of mysticism.
oh,
Mysticism
all right.
predates like
Well,
Judaism, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So what I'm saying is like it was all about the state you were in. That's what mysticism is about. It's not really about like, you know, a certain ideology or religion or denomination.
Well, right, that's it, and that's why it
Yeah.
can be applied to, and it is applied to. There's always that area of every type of major religion. The more
There's
mysticism
Christians.
part.
There's
Christian
Christian
mysticism.
mysticism.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the Book of Enoch.
But the
That's
problem is,
what a lot
like
of
when you
that
look
is.
at Jewish mysticism, Muslim mysticism, Christian, you
They're
all
all the
realize
same.
they're the same.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
That's the fucked up part.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
They're all
that's
the
the fuck.
same.
What do they
Yeah.
all tell you? Don't drink. Don't jack off. Don't waste your semen. Don't fucking do crack. Don't just smoke weed. You know, like
It's about. It's more. It's
don't
a lot of it's just
overeat.
energy based too.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah,
if you
like-
put out bad, that's what you're gonna get. That just
Exactly.
makes fucking sense. And like we're
But
all.
then why are we ready for that? Apparently, it's like it's crazy. It's like all the religions have to feed you like a bunch of bullshit.
Because you know what it is, because doesn't satisfy any of your basic, more not animalistic needs, but like that not everybody is. People are just too selfish. People are just too. They can't do something like that.
But there's nothing wrong with being selfish.
No, there's not. There's levels of it. Like
I mean,
it's-
you could take
yeah.
it to a bad end, of
yeah,
course.
like you don't have to
selfishness.
go all the way with it, but like it makes sense. Like yeah, if I don't hurt people,
Look, I just got into an argument with someone who was saying like exploitation, like they were talking about exploitation. I was like, I don't think exploitation is inherently bad. Yes, I think there are bad forms of exploitation, but I don't think all exploitation.
well,
and
doesn't
manipulation is bad.
exploitation imply that like somebody is using somebody else and to make money off them and like?
Well, here's then I followed up with exploitation is bad, manipulation is bad. What is bad is treating people as a means and not as an end.
Sure,
in and
yeah,
of
yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Like you can't treat people as a means. Everyone is an ends in and of themselves. And
Yeah.
if you could think of it that way, then yeah, that makes sense. And that drives with me because again, I think everyone is just a different version of each other. You know, like
yeah, I really feel like that's absolutely right, and like that's something that people just don't seem to
because if
understand.
everyone's a
like,
child of God, we're all just fractalizations of the divine source at the end of the day. So.
we all got here the same way, we may not be in the same situation, may not like have been raised the same way, but like, don't we feel the same things? Don't we feel like
we don't always feel the same things, but I'm saying like there could be like a rapist, psychopath, murderer who feels like completely.
But that's like a brain
he's still
chemistry.
but he's still a child of God.
in that sense. Well,
Like maybe God has conflicts. Maybe God thinks to himself like,
we're just God's consciousness playing out.
Yeah.
God's
like have you
That's
ever
a way
have
to
you
think of
ever
something, yeah.
like you ever have conversations in your head between two people you just
Yeah,
make
like the
up
whole-
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah. But
what if
that's-
that's just what we are to God? What if we're just like imaginary people in God's head that's just playing out conversations?
like yeah,
with each
if
other?
we are like a reflection of who he is, like these are just his emotions playing out and him determining, or like maybe him just doing away. That's how he purges them or something like that. Like yeah, and there's just a way to get it out. It's totally like a way to an idea.
Like we could see like World War III happening. Meanwhile, God is just deciding like, do I want oatmeal for breakfast or pancakes?
Well, I think it's
You know,
more.
like-
I think it's more like that.
Yeah.
Where, like,
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think it's like that. It's
Yeah.
like, but between us and God, like deciding on breakfast, there's like interim beings. You know, that's the weird thing. There's like, you know, angels.
That's
and demons.
mysticism. That's like
Yeah,
all the in
that's
between,
like-
all the
yeah.
in between shit. Yeah,
That's like, you know, like people call them angels and demons. I call them negative patterns and positive patterns. You know, like if you're caught with a negative pattern of addiction, for example, is that not being possessed by a demon? Like, what if you're just addicted to cutting people or injecting heroin into your body or fucking, you know, like raping people? Like, if that's your addiction, like, wouldn't you say you're possessed? Or at the same time, like, what if you just feel compelled to, like, you know, just be grateful? You know, like, once you discover, like, you know, you went through hell and then you survived and you realize, like, oh my God, we're taking so much for granted. Like, then you become possessed by the other thing, you know? So that's what I think. It's like I think there is something between us and God, higher things, and not all of them are good, and not all of them are evil. They're it's like it's the patterns.
I think it's to me it's just different dimensions and
Well, patterns are a different dimension,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like for example, like you do one evil thing in front of me, and if I'm retarded, I could think you're an evil person. But what if you do one evil thing in front of me, and if I keep sticking with you long enough, you do like 10 other good deeds?
Mm.
Like, can I really call you an evil person? Evil person? No. But that really all has to do with patterns, right?
Yeah, and people don't. That's why I think it's always important to understand where people come from, because when people do, there's a reason why people do the things they do, and like the key to understanding how to fix that, or be able to talk to them, at least get a better
What's the key?
understanding, is understanding why they arrived at that decision.
Which is what? What's the core to that understanding? Here's my.
Well,
I
putting
have a
yourself
take on
like in
it.
their shoes, or like just finding out how they arrived there and what their goal is. Like,
All right, so I have a really interesting take, which would be about pattern recognition, right? So, pattern recognition is important because, like, if you ever take an IQ test,
no.
all right, so anyone who takes an IQ test, it's like whether you're an adult or a child, it's basically pattern recognition. Like they'll give you like a set of numbers, and then they'll tell you like if I tell you 1 2 5 6 1 2 5 6 1 2 5, what's the next number?
That's our entire education system.
Exactly, it's pattern
right?
recognition. It's
Like,
like
there's-
how good are you at solving it? Like guessing the next sequence once you've seen the pattern, right?
I've always,
but that's
like-
all. That's life, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you know the patterns of the seasons, the patterns of the cosmos, day and night cycles.
Yeah, absolutely.
We eat, shit, and sleep every single fucking day.
Like that's
Our
how like
yeah.
I was always a good test taker in school
Because
like,
we
it
see the
follows-
patterns, yeah.
And like there's people that aren't, but they're not dumb. It's just like that's not a pattern that works for them, or not a pattern they see.
It's
But,
all
like,
pattern
there's-
recognition.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's really what it all boils down to. And what if patterns are actually alive? What if patterns are intelligent? What if patterns are just existing in a higher dimension, and those are the spirits, those are the gods?
I feel like that's just more of a way like our brains are wired. Like that's how we arrive at like we look for familiarity in things. We look so we could like things that we understand, and that helps you understand the next thing. Like if your brain can easily interpret it, like your brain is always looking for ways to easily interpret something for you.
Yeah, but there's also like a sacrifice. For example, what if your brain understands that the pattern to getting a healthy body is to work out every day, but you don't actually work out every day, so you never get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's something beyond just understanding the pattern, seeing the pattern. You also have to give. Like there's an
Well,
energetic-
that's why they're two different. It's two different things.
Yeah.
Like my brain like is not separate from me, but it's not. There's different Chris's, like you were saying before. Like there's different levels of like what I'm caring about and what I'm thinking about. So like yeah,
But on the deepest level, like you said,
Yeah.
there's levels. But on the deepest level, I think we're all the same. I mean, the higher levels is that's when we become more individual. But on the
Yeah.
core level, everyone's just the same soul. living
yeah.
out different
I love
lifetimes, different bodies.
like I love shooting myself in the foot. Doesn't everybody? Isn't that what we all do? That we all fuck each other ourselves over like from time to time. Like
That's why I do
are
martial
we
arts.
trying to? Yeah.
Martial arts is the best place for me to
Discipline.
like try shit out. And if I mess up, I get a face full of fucking padded sword, and a hard padded sword. So it's like, or sometimes a finger full of like wooden boken, that like, I'm like, how are my fingers not broken by now? Because I've taken some bad hits. And it's like,
Yeah, I've watched some of your videos. It's all in the hands.
martial arts, man. It's the perfect amalgamation of like mind, body, and soul coherence.
Yeah, that's everything working together.
So what are the problems? The problems are we only look at mind and body, especially when you look at like modern psychology, modern athletics, modern fitness. It's all about mind and body. However, no one looks at the soul. And the soul,
The soul is hard to quantify. Like,
but here's how you know it exists. For example, you know you're not your thoughts. How do you know you're not your thoughts?
How do I know not my thoughts? Because my feelings aren't my thoughts. My
No. That's
like,
not why.
what do you mean?
The reason why you know the true you are not your thoughts is because you can observe your thoughts. And the reason why you know you are not just your body is because you have thoughts. You have something intangible. So there is something higher than your thoughts and your body because you can observe all these things. If you can observe your thoughts, you are not your thoughts. I'm sorry. If you can observe your emotions, you're not your emotions. If you as Chris can say, I'm angry right now, you are not anger. If you as Chris could say, I'm thinking about like what I'm having for breakfast. You are not the thing that's thinking about what you're having for. If you could observe those things, you're
Yeah.
not those. But you know you can do it, so you're not those. So what are you? Where are you? And that I think is the
That's
higher.
soul.
That's the higher thing. It's like the thing that doesn't think, the thing that doesn't feel. Is
It's just what it is.
it
Like
could
you
literally
can't.
see yourself observing. It could literally see yourself thinking. It could see yourself feeling, and it could see yourself acting.
Well,
That
that's the
thing,
true self. Then
that's the true self. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you could
This is
teach.
why I think you're not your brain. Like
Yeah.
I see Chris, I see a
Yeah.
body, I know you have thoughts, I know you have feelings, but like
I
I
know.
know that's not you because
Yeah.
like where are you then? Like
Yeah.
you're not just your body, you're not just your thoughts, you're not just so
And
where are
somebody
you?
could easily know everything I know, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that's how
That's
they're
that,
going to.
yeah, exactly. So
Oh no, I agree. I agree that there is that.
but that's I think that's the root of mysticism. That's where it starts. Like once you
Yeah,
that's where
improving
yeah,
that thing, and that's
yeah,
where
yeah,
you draw
yeah,
the
yeah.
most from.
Yeah. That's where initiation starts. That's
Yeah.
where they start you off where it's like how are you feeling right now? What are you thinking about? What are you doing right now? Like what's your like like
Yeah.
and then they go is that what you are? Are you just your body? And then that's they give you that line of questioning where eventually you realize I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my feelings and I'm not my body. What am I? And then that's what makes you realize like wait, oh shit, like because I'm not those things, I could actually influence those things. And then you look at other people and then who are still thinking, I'm my body, I'm my thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm not like those people anymore, you know? And that's the feeling. And that's the
You
next
know what, I
challenge.
agree,
It's like,
I-
do you think you're better than them now? Or do you think you're
No.
worse? So this is where the next challenge is. And then it's like, there's always going to be a series of oscillating, like, challenges going up in that. Because like after you become enlightened to that level, then it's like, well, fuck it. Like just because I could see this doesn't mean I'm any different from them. So I'm just gonna go back to not caring. And then it's like, well, because I go back and then people are asking me, how do you do this? Now I have to deal with politics of interpersonal shit of people asking me for guidance. And then you go back, and then you eventually go back
I feel
and
like
forth.
once you're enlightened, just enlightenment, I feel like naturally also brings you to like, well, I should share this when I can, if I can, to open ears and stuff like that. So like I've seen, I've been able to like like watch because there's moments where I can remember where like I was behaving a certain way and it clicked and I'm like I'm being an asshole right now. Why am I doing this? I mean, let me stop. And like you see people get carried away and not ever recognize that. So like that that once I feel like once you have that enlightenment, once you can tell people like, hey, like this is a better way to self-reflection is really the way to go.
I
Like,
agree.
Yeah,
I also
you
agree.
you would share with them. You don't look down on them.
Also, what's
because
important?
it took you time to get to where you got, and it's just not.
What's important is I don't think enlightenment is like a something you could pick up and like take and like have.
Well, no.
What
yeah,
I do
it's-
think, it's a place, right? And our bodies are only like radios, and we can never be the place because we're still our own radios. However,
But every now and then you hit
tune
the
in.
right.
So
yeah,
like
the
you ever
right
just
frequency.
drive close to a place on the same channel and then you finally pick it up.
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah,
oh yeah, I'm there. But then you drive away and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't hear it. I think that's what it's a frequency. It's like once you're
Yeah.
in that state, it's like once you're in that mode, you're like, yeah, I could bet everything on black at a roulette right now and I'll win. Like
Yeah.
Or I could like bet my life in a sword duel right now and
Yeah,
I'll fucking win.
you're hearing everything clearly.
Because like you've finally got out of your own way.
Yeah, and that's
The only
super
time we
important.
fail is because we are in our own way. The only times we succeed is when we finally step out of our own way.
A friend of mine recently took what I consider a troubling amount of DMT.
A heroic dose.
Well, over like he was like just doing it like pretty often, but it helped him, and like he talked to me about it, and like it helped him literally get out of his own fucking way. Like he was able to step out and really self-analyze, and like there was shit like that I never thought he would ever say that he realized was wrong and just not doing him any favors. And he was like, dude, he's like, you got to do DMT with me. I'm like, like it's troublesome you had to do that much DMT to see these things. I'm like, but it's a beautiful thing to witness. And like there was a true happiness in him telling me, like, I realized I was wrong like this. This wasn't.
What's
and
really
it wasn't
funny-
like something negative happened to him right then and there for him to be like, oh,
Look, I don't mean to be sexist, but like I've had more experience, positive experiences telling this to men than women. Because like every time I come across like a friend or an acquaintance who's coming across a hard time, I would tell them, just sit back and ask yourself, what am I not allowing myself to see? And every time I tell a guy that, he's always like, takes a second and he's like, "Oh shit, you're right." But when I tell a woman that, he's like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" You know, like they hate that shit.
Well,
because they don't like to blame themselves. Because like women are already
Well,
on the back foot, so I give them a lot of leeway.
it's
like,
yeah.
you know, like, it's
Also,
not their
just,
fault.
It's
their
not.
body.
It's different. It's biological and sociological.
So it's like they have a lot more. Like this is why I think like I always tell guys, I'm like, if you see a woman like being critical of men, think of it like a poor person hating on a billionaire.
Yeah, like you let most
Yeah.
of it go, like for like, and not
You
because,
should. You
yeah,
have
you should.
to, because
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I'm
They've
so
they've
happy.
earned
I'm
it.
not.
Yeah,
I'm so happy. I'm not.
I
a
thank
woman.
God every day.
Exactly. It's
I
like,
think everything I could,
dude. Like I look at feminists, I don't see them as a threat. I'm like, I
No,
see
I-
them as
I
like,
kinda- I
poor,
get it.
You poor thing.
Yeah, I
like,
get it.
I'm 100%
Yeah,
glad
it's
I'm not
shitty.
you. Yeah.
It's way harder to be a woman.
Yeah. But the feminists who don't like that are the ones who are like, my life is way better as a woman, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And
Well, there's some women that
they hate that shit, and I'm like,
I got a cousin, Teresa. She makes that work pretty well.
whatever. But
She knows who she is. She loves it.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Morality, such a fucking vague and ephemeral thing.
Well, no, morals aren't vague. Principles are vague, or can vary more so than morals.
Well, I
Morals
don't know.
is something society.
I think we've grown
puts
past
into-
morals. Morals are only important when we're all locked into like animal tendencies.
Well, it's
First
that's
of all,
something
if
society.
I'm gonna say
like-
this: if a retarded asshole Mongolian infested Korean blooded kid like me can say, "I quit porn. I'm going to eat once a day. I'm going to practice martial arts just for the sake of practice, not even to be good, just because I appreciate practice. I'm going to make music. I'm going to facilitate a podcast where I'm not talking about how like women are fucking hoe-mathing sluts and how men are just looks maxing fucking faggot. Like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do that shit. I'm just gonna try to promote and maintain balance of harmony between mind, body, and soul.
I mean, that's what you have. Something you can directly control.
Because I think when you're in harmony of mind, body, and soul, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Absolutely. Whatever
Because
needs
if
to be
you're in
done.
harmony of mind, body, and soul, I trust your intentions 100%. Because I know you're not gonna want to do fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Like if you're, it's not even like you're the smartest person, strongest person, or the most emotionally stable or softest person. No, if all I know is if your heart, brain, and like body are not fucking at war with each other,
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. You want to rob a bank? You probably have
a good reason for it. Let's
yeah.
like, well, hold on a second. Let's sit him down and let's talk this through.
Yeah.
This-
Meanwhile, if your heart and body are at war, or if your mind and body are at war, or if your body and whatever or whatever mind and heart, then it's a problem,
yeah.
But if those three things are, and you whatever, you have to kill a man, you have to prevent the death of a villain, you have to fucking
And I'd be hear him out. Let's see what he's got to say.
because this is the guy. Like, look at like he may not have done anything significant like become president or become like a world famous terrorist, but he's a guy. He's not at war with himself. Like he's grateful for every day.
There's so many regular people that are like this that like you don't. It seems like they're so hard to come by because like they're not.
But they're so common.
They are common, but like they're common and like that's. I mean, like to me, like that's just like friendship and friendship as you get older,
what
like
taught me
looking
this?
for people that are like this.
What taught me this is playing fucking Arc Raiders. Playing Arc Raiders made me realize, yes, there are some bad people out there
Sure.
who really relish in your suffering. Like
Yeah.
I've experienced, but there are also people in Arc Raiders who literally relish in making life better for you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate both so much because I realize,
As long as you're honest about it.
I also realize one would be meaningless without the other. Like the people who truly relish in being evil would be meaningless. They would feel meaningless without the people who
Well,
relish in being
in
good.
Arc
And the people
Raiders-
who relish in being good really would feel meaningless.
Sure,
Yeah.
in Arc Raiders, but if we
No,
didn't
I think
have-
in real life too.
if we didn't have villains and selfish people, like there's still just things that happen that are unfortunate to people.
Do you know how I know like villainy and evil will never leave humanity?
Why? 'Cause there's no good without evil. There's no.
No, it's not that. Because like I'm a human being, so I look at everything through a lens from a human being. So I look at like the way like
Oh, so you can understand why some people. Yeah.
no, I mean I look at the way like animals reproduce, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, if I take it for what it is, the majestic view of nature, I'm like, this is incredible. But when I apply my human logic to it, I'm like, I'm literally watching an animal sexually like assault another animal, and they're going to procreate their species this way. And the female doesn't seem like they're enjoying it, but this is natural, and this is the way it's always been done for millennia, and it has to be done this way. You know, like I understand that too, and it's like, what do you say about that? You know, it's like I understand my human side is just we're maybe being human is really just trying to like go to war with like animal nature, you know, and chaos. Because that's why animals like rape each other and murder each other, right? Is because of the chaos of nature.
Well, yeah, there's just I don't feel like I feel like the desire to procreate is instinctual, like it's just something you can't help, but like not in the sense where like you feel like you have to start a family, like marry someone, get a house, have 3-4 kids, but like there is something that just in your brain is natural about wanting to come into a nice, tight, wet, moist place. So like it's just I think like
That's not true, is it?
what do you mean? Everyone wants to come somewhere for the most part. Like I think it's just normal to want to do that.
I'm saying it's not necessary.
Coming, I think it's very necessary.
No, it's not.
I disagree.
I'm saying there has been historical precedent for warrior monks in various cultures who have abstained from sex and ended up.
Yeah, but I bet you they have wet dreams every now and then.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, they're
So
not
that's what
doing
I'm
it.
saying. So
No,
I know they're not.
no, they're not looking at it as a moralistic thing. It's like, oh, if I come, I'm evil. And
No, I know.
No,
It's
they're
more
looking
about
at it as they're looking
self-control.
at their cum as mana, as their energy source. You think I'm kidding?
No. I know.
You know the story
No,
of
no, no.
you know the
You're
story
right,
of
yeah,
Samson with the cutting of the hair?
Yeah,
You think
yeah.
that was literally about cutting of hair? No. She literally went and drained the man and like had sex with him, and he was just like felt like he was like had that post nut clarity, and he wasn't a fighter anymore.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson literally said before fights, I would not jerk off or have sex for like
Because it doesn't work well if you write like his one weakness was
What?
like it'd be like I'm saying like to write like a legend like Samson, to write like it's
Oh yeah, it has to be like
Yeah.
yeah.
like
One
his one
weakness.
weakness, you gotta make
Yeah.
him come,
Yeah.
and you'd be like that's
No,
every
but
man's weakness.
but
It's
that
like,
wasn't the-
yeah, this is a legend.
No, but
duh.
the official canon is his hair. But it wasn't about
No,
his
I
hair.
know, but it's also not about a real person named Samson. It's about what they're trying to talk about is about it's anti-masturbation. It's really what it is. It's about telling men like that's how women get won over on you.
But what's wrong with that? I think that's correct.
Oh no, I don't disagree with the fact that it exists or as a legend. I'm just saying like people to think it's like literally what it means is silly. It's like no, like the reason why these stories exist and have been written down is because it teaches us lessons about how to be human. Like it's not like it's
I don't
legend.
think I don't think the act of masturbation as a man. I can't speak for women because I think women go on different rules with sexuality. But as a man, I don't think masturbation is inherently evil.
Not at
But
all.
I think there's always a cost to every nut, a huge cost to every nut you
What could the
bust.
cost be?
Vitality, mana, magical energy, creation energy, intention, willpower.
I
Like
don't
you
know,
know
man.
that you know in Fable when you gathered like will. That,
Yeah.
I think that's like really like every time you nut, you expend like at least half of it.
I mean, I guess I've been out of mana, but I always get more mana the next day.
If you had magic, what would you use it for? Would you not at the end of the day somehow use it to get laid? I would. Not directly, like I wouldn't say I'm going to use this magic to get laid, but I would know I'm going to use.
I
the
wouldn't
magic.
use Jedi.
I would know I'm going to use
Then
the
again-
magic to do great things that'll get me laid. You know. As a man, I would know that. I would know if I'm going to save like a village of fucking like peasants to fuck from like goblins. Like I know I'm probably going to get laid out of it. Yeah.
Well,
it
yeah, but
comes
that's
with it, yeah.
that's different. That's also like
But that's a part of it. But it's not different.
But
because
that,
it's
but
all
no, but that
intercorrect.
point, but by that same like logic, like I use modern magic to get laid.
But
That's how I get laid.
It still ties back to your nut.
I gotta
where-
talk you
But
into-
still, if you just jerked off, you wouldn't care about doing that in the first place. I'm not talking about the nut, the fluid. I'm talking about the actual,
I know
the
what you- I know what you
experience,
mean,
the
yes, yeah.
the psychic experience of it. Like once you've experienced that, it literally drains you.
Right, but should I then? Does that mean that I should every time I get a boner, I should go procreate?
Well, my question is, every time you get a
Because
boner,
then why do I get an
my
erection?
question is, do you have to every time you get an erection, do you have to nut?
No, and I don't. But then, it's going to occur. So it's just like
Does it have to occur?
erections.
No, no, I mean you nutting.
No, but it's nice.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to occur.
No, it doesn't have to happen just because I get.
And when it doesn't
an erection,
occur,
but
more benefits happen than when it does occur for no reason. When you have a kid, great, you got a kid out of it. When it happens, you got a relationship, great, you got a relationship out of it. But when it just happens, just to happen, bad things happen. It's nothing. It's mostly net negative. I'm not saying like the world's gonna end, but it's not gonna benefit you.
sure, just thinking about but that's also about it's not beneficial to ever
It's
value
only going
instant
to
pleasure.
benefit you from withholding. I mean, let's be honest. You've only benefited from
Edging, but you got to nut at some
I'm
point.
saying you've only benefited from not buying that sixth beer. You've only benefited from not buying that fifth beer. You've only benefited from not buying that fourth or the third or the second or even the first beer. You've only benefited from not spending money. And then once you realize you don't have to spend your money on any beers or any drugs or any sex or anything, then what do you really want to spend it on if you don't have to spend it on anything? And then it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to make the world a better place or a worse place? Do you want to make your life better or do you want to make your life worse? Because now you have the freedom to, because now you know you don't have to spend your energy on all that stuff. So what do you really want to spend it on? You don't have to make the world better. You don't have to make the world worse. Now that you know you're completely free with your energy, what do you really want to do with it? Well, for me, I just want to create. I want to create beautiful things. I want to create ugly things. I want to create hard things. I want to create soft things. I want to create angled things. I want to create round things. I just want to create. That's what I came across. Because once I realized, like, I don't want to fight for good because good recontextualized can easily be evil.
Well,
and I don't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
fight for evil because I don't want to be evil. So what can I fight for is freedom. The freedom
Individualism.
the freedom to be evil or good, depending on your will. And the problem is when you fight for freedom is you have to defend your freedom. Because you could think you're doing the
And that
greatest thing in
means
the world.
limiting other people's freedom.
Yep. Yep. And that's the cost. And I accept the cost. Which means there's only so much freedom I want. How much freedom do I want, really?
Well, that's it. That's it.
The
That's
freedom
it
to
too.
do the
is-
freedom to do what exactly, and the freedom to do it to who? It's like
Yeah, well, that's the
what,
problem.
like
That's the
exactly.
problem
Like,
with-
how much freedom do I really fucking need in this life?
That's the
It's
problem
like,
with freedom.
yeah.
Is that when yours and it's
It's like, do I really need the freedom to, like, I don't know, shoot whoever I want, rape whoever I want? No,
I don't think
I
so.
don't need that
no.
freedom. Exactly.
No, because that just somebody
So
else.
then
could
why would I
easily-
make freedom such a such a focused goal? Because I don't need the freedom to do everything. Honestly.
Anthony, my friend Anthony, like that's something he's always said. Where like to him, he thinks he's like I've never understood it, and it's like one of like the few instances in human history like to have an entire country and government
about freedom,
based off
like
freedom.
It's like freedom to do what?
Yeah, exactly. He's like
what?
freedom is such an obscure like it's just so he's like that's never existed. That's never
It
happened.
is.
Yeah.
It is. It's like what exactly do you want the freedom to do?
Yeah,
And once I've tasted that freedom as an Asian American, I realized it's all bullshit. Like, we don't really need the freedom to do anything. We already have everything we need. This is what Jesus told us. He was like, does God not provide the birds? Like, look at the birds. Do they want for food? Do they want for water? No. Yeah. Like, look at the slugs. Do they starve to death like we do? No. Like,
God just gave you the capacity to think and then walked away for a few minutes.
yep.
There you were,
Yep.
eating them apples, talking to snakes.
Yeah. And the only thing that really tied me to that was martial arts. It's like I look at people, and there's people who like are way stupider than me, but they could fuck me up in a fight. And there's people that are way smarter than me, and I play with their fucking shit. And I'm like, that taught me a lot. It gave me that third dimension between mind, body, and soul. Like, just because a person has a higher mind than you doesn't mean they have a higher soul than you. And just because you have a higher soul than them doesn't mean you have a higher mind than them. But the body's the most obvious thing to me, because like that's like so material. Like, I could always work out, not eat bad foods, and do steroids or not do steroids. The mind is a little trickier because
There's also the body, like it's more readily available to everybody. Like people don't have to, like someone could judge you based off your body from a distance, without like where your mind is something that has to be more delved into to really figure somebody out. Well, yeah, that's why
I mean,
exercising your mind is important.
Put it this way, like there's reasons why, like throughout history, women were like such effective assassins because our preconception is like, yeah, I could fucking, if me and this woman got into a fucking fight, like my handmaiden, I would fucking break her neck. This is why she's the last person I would expect to fucking put poison in my tea and then like
No,
fucking.
that's and like there's
Yeah.
so many examples of that. That was actually my favorite line.
It's
in,
beautiful. This is why I'm saying it's all balanced at the end of the day. Like the mind can beat the body, the soul can beat the mind, and the body, unfortunately, can beat the soul. Like it's like it's not like a hierarchical thing as much as we think. When we think of ourselves, if we focus our attention outwards, everything is hierarchical. But when we focus our attention inwards, suddenly all the hierarchy just goes away. Because when you master your own weaknesses more than your enemies can master their own weaknesses, like you're unstoppable. Truly.
One of my favorite lines, or at least the funniest line in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was, I think after they have the fight with the Jade Fox and the girl, and like they're coming back to town the next day, and they're like, a lady assassin. Well, that's unusual. I forget who says it. I'm like, I love that. Like
You saw the dubbed version because I saw the dubbed version too.
No, I know. I watched the sub version.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Oh, dude.
It.
I don't know. No,
I
will
watched
not.
the dub version.
Really?
Yeah.
That had to ruin it.
It did.
That's terrible.
It was terrible.
Like
it got so terrible where there were
oh my god,
there were certain fight scenes where I paused the movie, went on YouTube just to watch the sub version.
Oh my god, you should have watched the fucking. I never like.
You know what fight scene I had to do it to?
What?
The restaurant fight. I can't talk about this. I gotta.
Yeah, I was really happy I watched that.
You never saw that movie before?
No, I knew the name. I knew it was a good movie, but I had never seen it before. That's not.
Yeah, this is not Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
That's not Ang Lee at all. Oh my god.
It's okay. This is the second time I spilled shit on this fucking on this keyboard.
I've never spilled anything on a keyboard.
All right, so let's talk about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
But yeah. So
here's the thing about Ang Lee, the director of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Beautiful. He's a great cinematographer.
He also made Brokeback Mountain.
Okay, and he made the Hulk. I know.
Did he do the Hulk?
Yeah. That's Ang Lee's Hulk. That's the first Hulk movie.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I hated it as a kid. I haven't watched it since because it misses the point of the Hulk, but it's not a bad movie. Like, he just didn't, he just saw the Hulk in a different way. But Ang Lee's like, he has some great fucking movies and some beautiful cinematography. The Life of Pi.
I mean, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is probably Ang Lee's first and only actual martial arts movie.
It is his only martial arts movie.
But it's also one of the best martial arts movies.
It did everything like a kung fu movie could do, like, perfectly, and then it had a great plot with it too and great acting. Like, I loved the I just loved the fight scenes were fucking perfect.
Yeah, and it was just a great movie. So it was a great martial arts movie, and it was just a great movie.
Great story was told. Great martial arts movie. Great acting. The setting, the cinematography. I read into it how this was his, because he's from Taiwan. So, he was like, this is like, to him, he's like, this is the China that, we've only read about and heard about. This is what I'd like to think China was like, or could have, what China used to be, because it's not anymore, because he fought against the communists. The main actor, the original owner of the Green Destiny, I forget his
Chow Yun-fat.
Yeah, that's the actor Chow Yun-fat. He fought against the communists. The older man that he gives the sword to, he fought against the communists. So it's it's very nationalistic, because Taiwan is the legitimate government of China. That is what's left.
However, even the materialistic government body still gave respect and
because it wasn't against the current regime or anything like that. Like, it wasn't saying anything against the Chinese government. It was just an
ideological difference. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just to him, he's like, this movie is China, and I loved it. It did everything perfectly, where everything was shot great, the costumes are great, the settings are beautiful, and the fight scenes were
acting was great.
The story was good. The story was real.
Well, the story was probably the best part, because a lot of people made kung fu movies, a lot of people made martial arts movies, and political movies, but this movie was extra good because of the romantic aspect of it, the story.
It blended the idea.
That
of
was the best part, because everything else made us think, everything else made us be like, wow, it made our bodies and our nerves react, but to make a heart react required the main character's arc.
It made her. It made her extremely human and like.
She was like Anakin Skywalker, like a literally she was like a female Anakin Skywalker, except instead of like killing Padme, this Anakin just killed herself. You know, like
yeah.
yeah.
I loved it. Michelle Yeoh, like, I can't believe it took until Everything Everywhere for people to be like, she's fantastic. It's like, so she's been great. And she actually didn't know how to speak.
I did not like Everything Everywhere. I hated that fucking movie.
I thought it was okay. It's not like, I just hate how people are like, this is the best movie ever. It's like, no, it's not. Like, it really isn't.
I fucking hate that movie.
She's great in it, but
Michelle Yeoh is great in that movie, but I just don't like the movie.
To me, the movie it's just not, it's good. It's also like, I think 30 minutes too long. And it relies too heavily on like special effects kind of things. Like it just, I don't know. It's fine. It's a good movie. She did a great job. But, like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like, you understand all the characters, all the main characters. You get their motivations, the cultural groups or the ethnic groups rather within China.
Yeah, it was very like romantic. It was
a romanticized.
It was a worldly type of romantic and not a culturally type of romantic. Yeah.
Yeah. The different martial arts schools or whatever, like that's something actually doesn't get brought up. That it gets brought up where like the Jade Fox that killed Chow Yun-fat's like master or whatever. Like she's like, he would fuck me, but like and use me, but he wouldn't teach me anything. Like you use like your whole school of thought uses women as if they're whores, like they don't matter, and like that's what she was really like angry about. And it's never like, and when he tells the girl that he's going to train her, like she was like, well, you don't train women, your school. He's like, yeah, but you'll be the first. We'll train you.
That proves that it wasn't really about what
she's not pure
Jade
evil.
Frog thought.
Yeah, Jade Fox.
It really wasn't what Jade Fox thought. Like honestly, like what Jade Fox didn't understand was that when you're at the highest levels of martial prowess,
also she wouldn't have understood anyway.
Exactly,
she didn't. Yeah,
when you're at the highest prowess of martial level yourself as an individual, it doesn't matter what's between
your
legs.
Right. It had nothing. It didn't matter if she was a woman, so
because it's bigger than you. It's bigger than your fucking genitals. It's bigger than your tits. It's bigger than your.
And she used poison to kill it. And she used
meanwhile,
poison to kill
meanwhile, Jade
tricks.
Fox was completely enmeshed in that base human, like not unenlightened form of martial arts, where she was like all about subterfuge and like killing and assassinations and like the political and the pride. Meanwhile, everyone else is all about like, I'm just trying to be okay with myself being good at this shit,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And that's it too. Like you wouldn't teach someone like her because that guy would have seen where it was going.
Meanwhile, but that was
I love the political
but that was
too,
also
where like
everyone knows. Everyone knows. Why did you fuck that bitch in the first place? You fucking idiot! You ruined your whole fucking. And we don't even get to see you in the movie to hate you for it. Like right? Yeah, that is really how martial arts schools like. Where honestly, the most potent, the most effective martial arts schools always have to suffer for the sins of their predecessors. You know?
I love like that was
dude. As a Korean man practicing Toyama Ryu, like I have to deal with the fact that my style was literally used to slaughter Koreans wholesale. Like really good too. Like,
well, most of the sword fighting in this was fencing, so your style wasn't in it.
But that's the thing, right? Like when it comes to fencing, it's like you're only powerful when it comes to fencing when you're fighting against other people who don't know how to fence.
Well, yeah, that's why your fencing is practicing like the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So here's the thing. Like when I train and spar with my students, it's like when they spar with me and they spar with their classmates, they feel very discouraged. They're always like, "Oh, I could have done better." Blah blah blah. You know when they get really gassed up? When they fight other schools.
Yeah.
That's when they realize, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's like because like and it's like so every time they complain about it's like I just don't feel like I'm getting good, senpai. I'm like, all right, but then like
I think
then our teacher would be like, oh, we're gonna have a poly clash. We're gonna have like Gekken matches against other students, and like now you guys will see. And then they finally understand. They're like, oh shit,
that's cool feeling.
So then they appreciate like our practice more. Where even if they lose, they're like, this is what I need. I need to lose. Like I need to figure out how to not lose this because the more I figure this out, the better I'll be against everyone else.
And also seeing the different styles because like that's what makes him want to train her is when he realizes that she knows more than he think that she would know, and that she knows how to combine and anticipate certain different styles because that's what would make you a true master.
I only have one student like that right now. It's this Russian dude, Dima. I think he's the one who could really like. I mean, he's a little older,
Chosen one.
kinda. I mean, I just I sense his passion, and I know his passion is tempered by his like mechanical coldness, where he's like, I understand the system, how it works, but I also understand like the psychological depth of the soul involved in the swordsmanship and like what it really takes to win fight. Because like what I really like about him is he's willing to let go of his ego to completely copy someone he thinks is better, and it's like, can I do that? And the fact that he's willing to do that shows me that he's willing to let go of his ego
Yeah.
to gain the power, and that's what I did. Like, I didn't get as good as I did because I thought like I knew better. No, I got as good as I did because I looked for the best guy who fucked me up the hardest, who hurt me the hardest, and I was like, I gotta fight like him. And I just like copied him. So this is what we all got to do, you know, to like in our school to get better. So, you know, like martial arts is a very pure form of like, I guess, like power dynamics, you know.
Yeah, and that like I love the way that was like expressed like in that movie, like that.
It's not about it's not even about pride. It's really just about there's no more lies to like hide behind.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's
know,
just
it's
like yeah, like
yeah.
this is just it. This is the way.
Because
you,
like it's like no matter whether you're a martial artist or not, you're still gonna die at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
it's like, how are you gonna deal with that? You know, and when you're a martial artist, it turns out you deal with it a lot better. So that's what I like about martial arts, because I feel like I'm ready to die. You know, like I don't want to die, but I'm ready to if I have to. Like I don't have kids, I don't have a wife. I'm really good at fighting, so if I have to take people with me down, you know, like I could do it. But it's like, you know, it's like I'm not afraid of it. I would be afraid of it if I had kids, if I had a wife. That's a different story. You know, that's when things become complicated. That's when you become exploitable. This is why Jedi weren't allowed to have kids, you know?
yeah.
And this is why the Sith thought family was weakness, because they both understood, you know, the same thing from a different perspective.
Yeah. What's about that movie? I can't believe you watched a dub version.
Yeah.
I've never like I don't mind because I mean I watch regular movies with subtitles, but that's just because.
But I feel like
kinda
that's one of the
grew up with
movies
that.
where the action speaks louder than the words, honestly.
The action speaks louder than the words, and I've started to notice the if you ever tried to watch something like a foreign movie with dubbed and with the subtitles, you'll realize that they're both different because the subtitles are trying to translate directly from the original language, whereas the dub is thinking of it from the terms of that language. So things are expressed differently.
Yeah, like I'll watch a Korean drama, they'll be like, you know, they're like, Munira. And the subtitles will say, open the electromagnetic lock door. And I'm like,
And
you
it-
said open the door.
But
Yeah, it's really weird.
but I feel like it expresses it better, and like there's even though like I don't.
But if you watch the original Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon dub version, they're all voiced by Indian people. Which
That's-
makes sense because,
that's
you know,
fantastic. Well, because
yeah.
it's from Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could hear it in the accent. You're like, this is an Indian
Oh god,
guy.
that's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Like
But they're British Indians speaking, so.
sure, yeah. No, I know it's not
Yeah.
like it's not
You
like the
know
guy
what-
that
you know
yeah,
how
it's not like the guy
yeah.
that calls you like, sir, your car warranty. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
no,
that guy.
you know what I'm
It's-
talking about.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's literally like, oh, yes,
Yeah.
you must do this.
It's probably Americana, yeah. Like so one of the best movies I've seen, like the newer movies I've seen in the last few years, was Godzilla Minus Zero, because of the acting was great. I cared about the characters and like his
So you preferred subbed over dubbed, yeah.
yeah, like it's because everything, his emotion, like that made it so real, and like I understood him, and even though I don't understand his words as he's saying it, I could see the emotion, like how
Ute!
yeah, that was great.
Means fire,
and
by
then
the way, yeah.
yeah, and then when I saw when I went on Netflix by default, like because you know how if you hover over something it'll play the scene, so by default it did the dub rather.
And you're like, this
and
sounds- this
it was
sounds like shit.
I'm like this is awful. Like the guy talking is talking like it's like he's sitting in a fucking booth and he's just reading it off a paper. Like
The problem was back in the 80s, there was a lot of American cinema audiences that weren't able to read as fast.
well, that's why
So-
international films didn't do as well as they do now because people also back then were just fucking stubborn. Like, oh, it's not in
Also-
English. I don't. Some of the fucking greatest shit. Like, it doesn't matter.
As far as media, though, the most effective dubbers were Canadian. Like when it came to dubbing, say anime and kung fu movies, a lot of them are Canadian.
Are they?
Yeah. The OG dubbers of like anime were all
Well,
Canadian.
actually, you know what? I will say the only thing, like live action movies, regardless of the language, I don't ever want to see the subbed version. I'm sorry, the dubbed version. I'll only do subtitles. But with anime, I can't. With anime, I need to do the dub because it's just the thing anime voice actors do, like the original Japanese voice actors do. I can't. It's just a high pitched screaming. I can't deal with it. So it's the only medium where like I have to have it in English. Everything else I don't care as long as I have subtitles.
Yeah, that's part of the gimmick, I think. Like the
Oh no, yes, that's what it is. It's so
Yeah.
unique to that. Like it's just what you do, and like I can't stand it. I just can't deal with it.
not
like, I
all
could
not,
never-
not all anime have that though. Some anime are
I'm
really,
sure not
yeah,
not
really
all, but
highbrow
the-
about their shit.
Right,
you
but
know?
the ones that I've watched that I know like I know they're gonna be high pitched, like Hunter or.
But
or
the
DBZ.
problem is, like, let's say you went to Japan, right? And maybe you had like a few million in the bank, and you know, like some women caught wind, and they end up in your hotel room, and you're fucking them. What if they acted just like they're like,
I would hate that. I'd be so angry. If fucking Japanese woman was like,
'Cause that's
like
what they
Japanese
thought- 'cause
porn,
that's what they thought you liked.
I hate like stereotypical Japanese porn, like with the.
You know what
Like
I
the
think?
kinda, like-
Honestly, I think a good depiction of like Asian sexuality was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You know, like that.
Yeah, it was.
Because usually, like, you know, that really is how it is between like Asian couples. It's like, you
That's
know,
what I-
do
that's what I-
something together. You know, before we gain attraction, like we can't just like exist around each other. You know, like
Yeah.
because we all look alike. So it's like it's got to be something more than just like a physical thing. Like we got to actually be engaged with something together to make me realize. Oh, you're not just another slanted-eyed yellow Asian man. Like you're actually different from the rest, and that's what I would
Chin
do.
or Han.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Or it's like you do kung fu. Holy shit! Like I don't see women do kung fu, and then the guy is like, the woman's like, oh wow, I stabbed you, and you're not bitching out like crazy. Like you know, it's
Well,
like,
that's what I love in their first movie.
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah,
she's
that's what it
she's
is,
Like
yeah.
you're a traveler. Like you've studied this. Like that's so cool. Like you have a real freedom. I want that. And she's like, you know, you don't understand. Like I have binds. You have binds. They're different. And she never accepts that till the very end. Yeah, and I love the thing where she's in love with Chung Yun Fat, and but she was engaged to his brother or like his combat brother, and he died or whatever. And it's just not proper. They can't do that, but they both want it. Yeah,
fucked up.
It was great. It's the contrast between her and then the younger one who has a love, doesn't want to marry the one she's supposed to, and thinks that if I just run away, everything will be okay, and it doesn't. Just everything about that movie was fucking was perfect. It was great. And I don't even love because movies will always like ham fist the romance angle into something.
No, that was a
that's
good- that
so
was a-
essential to the story and so essential to explaining the culture and stuff. So good.
it was a true romance story.
I love the shit in the desert with that guy. I'm so upset for him.
But I'm glad he didn't die.
I'm glad he didn't die. Yeah.
He deserves to live.
Oh, absolutely. Now he understands. He's found true love, and now it was a complicated true love. And nothing
Basically,
will ever be like that for him
Just
again.
don't trust bitches who are smart and good at martial arts. Like never trust them.
That's absolutely a great rule, but that's it. If you're like him, you found her, you can't just no, you have to, you can't help it.
She's literally the she's royalty of East Asian.
Bro, you live in the desert.
And
I like when I like the parts where he's like, "Come back to the desert with me." I'm like, "Bro, can't you move somewhere else?" I wouldn't be like, "Come back to the desert."
But he tried.
I know, yeah, and I respect that. And the whole thing where he's like, "I don't care if I ever die. I need to." And he runs into that procession they're having in town for during a wedding.
What was sad is at the very end, they were making love, and she was just looking blank. She's like, "I just want to kill myself already." You know?
Yeah.
Just finish, and then I could just jump off this cliff. You know,
Yeah,
that was pretty dark.
it was. It was really dark, but I feel like also it just comes from her because she's so young. It's that child that's she couldn't help that. That's a childishness.
No, but
in
the
her.
problem was she was not childish because she was too skilled. For example, maybe emotionally.
No, but
emotionally,
everything she did was
emotionally she
yeah.
may have been immature, but if she was allowed to develop as she was, she probably would have done way more damage than good.
Yeah, and that's what she recognized too.
That's why she
Yeah.
had to die
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end of the day. You know, like she had to go. Maybe not literally die. It was kind of vague.
No, but
because
like
these people
like
can like
her
you know,
idea of like she just wants to be free, and it
Yeah.
caused the death of this person that showed kindness to her.
Maybe she just killed her public self, and she just had to live freely as like a hidden master.
But you
a
saw she
crouching
couldn't.
tiger,
But you see
hidden
that she
dragon.
can't. Yeah, but you see she couldn't even do that. Like she couldn't.
I don't think she killed herself at the end.
I don't think so either. No, no, no.
I think the ending really meant she broke it off with her school. She broke it off with her man, and she probably
she
moved to,
cut all ties.
I think she moved
and-
to like America or something, and you know she just lived as a hidden crouching tiger, hidden dragon, a crouching tiger. That's what it
because
was about.
she can't like because when she first runs away, and she's at that place and like there she's getting at that tea house before the big
The movie
restaurant
was
one.
really about how like the most skilled martial artists really have to stay hidden. Like it's being
Yeah.
the best martial artist. It doesn't give you money. It doesn't give you fame. It doesn't give you happiness.
Those
It
two
doesn't-
guys saw her in disguise and just realized from her movements that she knows something about it. So they came up to her and like yeah, and like her brashness.
And they all lost because she was closer to the actual truth, which is real martial arts just is really just about making you comfortable with your own death. That's really what it's about.
yeah,
Real martial arts, like no matter what, like you know, you could kill, you could win, you could win, you could win, you could kill, but guess what? At the end of the game, you still have to die.
well, Choi Yun Fat's character, I feel like in the beginning, like his
Right? He was
meditation,
like, dude, the whole
that's
point is
what he
of this-
saw. Like what he saw was his end, and he's like, that's why he got rid of the sword.
It's like I
But
need
then he
to
couldn't-
go, man. Like
Yeah.
I can't be here anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And he looked at Michelle Yeoh. He's like, I want to fuck you and love you, and so, but
But I just can't. I can't do
like,
this. I can't.
We're on different levels.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, you didn't kill a fraction of the guys I killed, and I killed them because I had just this complete misguidance about my soul and being a warrior. And this is why Michelle Yeoh survived. You know, she was the one that survived because she was the only righteous character in the whole movie.
Yeah, everything she did was right and with the best intentions.
That's why she survived.
Mm.
That movie, that really was a perfect movie.
Dude, that honestly, that was one of, and I've always heard it was good, but that is one of the most perfect movies I've ever seen. Like it's just everything about it. I have not one complaint. There's not one thing where everything was about it. Just the way
action, and even the cheesy wire shit. I'm like,
No,
fuck.
I love that because they did it right with the sound and stuff, and like it's so silly to see people fighting trees, but I loved it. It was still it was a great visual.
I don't think it was silly. To me, the trees thing.
It was a great, and also it showed like the dynamic of power too. Like he was always, if you notice that,
He
like,
was whoosh.
yeah, but like whenever they
yeah.
were on a tree, like she was on closer to
Lower,
the bait,
yeah.
and he knew like he was always ahead of her. He was like manipulating like that. Like all he had to do was jump and move, and that caused her to. And
What
she was
was
always
also
trying
cool-
to find her grounding.
Yeah, well, it was also cool because they really did that shit. Like it wasn't like a green.
Yeah,
screen.
yeah,
Like,
that's
they really
that's another
stood,
fucking
yeah.
thing too. Like
Yeah,
it's
they
not that
really did
I
that
don't
shit.
hate special effects. I just
this
think
is-
that people rely on them too much and get lazy.
But this
Like,
is why I don't like the wire scenes because I think the real martial arts scenes without the wires was way better. Than,
oh sure,
yeah,
that was better. Yeah, but like that's just part of like the mysticism that the chi like that thing that you can't quantify like that only masters have.
and
I
they
feel
were
like that was to
portraying
show
it,
that.
and they were portraying it. But like the problem is like back in the times when they were actually practicing those abilities, we didn't have cameras. Like we didn't have like
Yeah,
the
who's
ability,
to say? Like who's to say?
or it might have been greater or less greater than what we tell them as. Like honestly, I'm scared to like confront that possibility where because we didn't have cameras back then, we don't know what those warriors were able to do. As a Japanese sword practitioner, I hear stories all the time about these guys where I'm like, they first tell me the stories. I'm like, there's no way he did that. But then I think about it and I'm like, that actually could be possible, you know? And I'm like, this is actually crazy.
Such conviction, such discipline.
Because I practice all the time and like it's not even like I confront these people or talk to them, but like with every like, you know, like practice strike and like with every like test cut, and I'm like, I realize like there's more to this swordsmanship than just like, you know, swinging an instrument. Like, you know, there's your whole mind and body involved, and when it really comes down to it, winning a sword fight really has nothing to do with like who's stronger, who's smarter, who's faster. It's really who's out of their own way,
yeah,
like less, you know?
like who's could remove like themselves from.
Like you could be the fittest and strongest dude in the world, but if you're like at war with yourself, it's like, am I doing the right thing?
Exactly, it's always
Like,
the people with inner peace. That,
Meanwhile, I'm just like, oh, I gotta kill this dude. You know, like pure minded.
that's awesome. I love his like his fencing, like just the one arm behind his back, like. Never always anticipating.
But Chow Yun Fat's character in Crouching Tiger, his problem was he was in love.
Yeah.
That's why he could never truly be a god, because he was in love.
Yeah, and there was a shame the shame he felt about something, or like something he was wrestling with, and it was that's really what like that.
And
that's
Michelle Yeoh couldn't be a god because she was a woman.
Yeah,
That was
and
her
that
problem,
was her place, and like that's what she tries to explain to
And the only one who was
Jen.
capable of being a god was the one at the end who's like, "Fuck y'all, I'm out of here."
Jen. Yeah, and like that was about her potential, like you could
you could surpass both of us, and then she was
Yeah.
like, "Fuck you guys."
Yeah, because she was a child and she fucked everything up, and she like sent ripples and ruined lives.
But she
as a
beat
result.
everyone.
Did she? I don't think
She didn't get. She didn't get hit
win.
with a dart.
Yeah, but is that
She-
winning though? Like now she's
The only person who beat her got beat by the person that she could have.
yeah,
clowned
Chung Yun Fat.
anytime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Like-
the only person that beat her, and that was to with the intention.
But
of-
she could have easily beaten the person who killed the person who beat her. So
the
it's like,
Jade Fox.
it's like
Yeah.
a George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, and the third guy kind of.
I liked her. I liked the Jade Fox line. 'Cause, it's on the subtitles at least. She's like, you know what, real like when she's dying after she hits Chung Yun Fat with the poison. And she's like, my real target was you, the girl.
Yeah, 'cause you
and she's
betrayed
like,
me,
do you
yeah.
know what real poison is? Like
A bitch like you.
exactly.
fucking
I was, you know what real
stupid
poison
cunt.
is? Like
Yeah.
teaching an 8-year-old everything you know, and her surpassing you, and just not and never like helping you grow, like just like letting you like.
But
sit
it
there,
was
like,
impossible. She already explained it in the beginning. She was like,
She was never- you wouldn't
I'm
understand.
sorry,
Yeah, you
you're
wouldn't
not,
understand,
You
yeah.
don't, you're not at that level. Like,
Yeah.
You're not smart enough to ever get it like
Yeah,
that. Like
you wouldn't
were
understand,
always-
yeah.
You were always just a powerful whore bitch. I'm sorry. Like, you're dumb. You're just a dumb motherfucker. And she was never able to get it. Meanwhile, the main character was able to get it beyond.
and she didn't rely like that's the thing. Like the way she killed was through the more nefarious means, not through the master of one type of martial art.
Even the dude who beat her in a straight up sword fight, even he died from his own, like, ties to his own, like,
yeah,
past.
because of his weapon.
Meanwhile, the main character was like, fuck that. I'm just
The
you
fight
know,
with
yeah.
that fight that she has with Michelle Yeoh like at her headquarters, whatever.
That was great,
when
yeah.
she's grabbing every
She
weapon,
fucked
like
her up with
I
everything,
know,
yeah.
because she's showing her you don't know, like you're not that disciplined. Like I can grab any of these things. Yeah. Was it not the heavy? It wasn't the heavy sword? It was like more of like that.
Like a mace.
Yeah,
A halberd.
Yeah, the halberd. Yeah. It was like when she like that was her like she fucking like was wrecking it. Like it was totally in her control, but she was still trying to kind of help her. Oh, so it was fucking great. It was
That
really
was the
really
best
good.
fight scene.
Yeah. She did, and she did all of her own stunts. Apparently, Michelle Yeoh is the only person that Jackie Chan lets do their own stunts, in when she's done it with his movies. I also read she fractured something in her leg early in the filming, in like the first fight scene, and then didn't film like she had a heel and then filmed everything, all her stuff like.
I would
towards the
like
end.
to do that shit. I would like to be a stunt. Like, I would like to be a background character in a samurai movie. Like, I would like to do that. I think I have the skills to do it. I think I could do it.
I mean, I love those coordinated fight scenes. It just always looks like fun. It looks, and that's why I always like. I love kung fu. I just love like good shit like that. So, yeah, that'd be fun.
I mean, you still hate AI art, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about AI transposing?
AI what?
All right, so let's say you film me like doing the sword movements, right? But then we feed it to a machine. Instead of like you see me doing you see like an anime scene where it's like me cutting through like drones or some shit, The same movements that I acted out, with my body,
Okay.
except you put like a layer of animation over it so
Sure.
it looks like something else.
Well, that's about it. It's filmmaking. That's fine.
You okay with that?
Well, that's graphic. That's special effects, isn't it? That's what.
Well, that's what AI is turning to. Like, it's giving the people the opportunity to not have like mocap studios accessible to them. They're able to like.
Well, no, you still had to act it out. It's still your movements. Like
Well,
your
it's
human
never going to
movements.
look good unless like I.
Well, yeah,
actually-
that's- yeah.
It's never going to look like the way it's
That's
supposed
I'm
to.
fine. Like I'm fine with AI touching things up.
Well, that's what we're waiting
essentially
for.
human.
That's really what we
Yeah.
want. We don't.
I don't want
yeah.
AI to create.
No,
things
what
that
we
are-
really want,
yeah.
what we want is a guy like me to be able to do the moves and like
Yeah, yeah.
choreograph scenes and to be able to like film it out and to be able to.
for the AI
pace
to
it
understand
over.
what you're asking for. But
No, but that's what, because if we film one scene like that, you know how many different movies will use that exact same like frame like scene transition and that frame sequence.
Sure. Well, like there's like the side angle and like fighting like horizontally is from what do you call it, battle royale? Like that's a thing.
They all do they literally they wholesale rip the fucking cinematography from a whole fight scene. And
Sure,
just
yeah,
reskin
yeah.
it for whole movies. And I agree with it because at least they say like this is an homage. You know, for me to be
It's
able
an
to
homage,
do
yeah.
this,
Certain angles
because
are
to
just
do it successfully, like
Yeah.
that takes skill. Like
Yeah.
you have to do that intentionally. Like you have to understand this fight scene so well to the point where it's like I could recreate it. You know?
Yeah, but and like in that, then like you have to be that intentional so it's understood as an homage, and also like it like a lot of these things exist because they look good, like and that's just it. There's only so many angles that you could figure
Literally,
out. To film
there was
things
a
from.
Cowboy Bebop movie and a Boondocks episode that used the same choreography,
Yeah.
you know, but it was animated. So, but it was like it was so cool because it was the same exact thing, like the same moves and the same exchange, but they both fit completely in their own context. And I was like, this is
Yeah,
sick.
that's how like like Western the Western genre is not like so is not necessarily tied to like cowboys in the old West. Like there's certain like aspects you take from it that could be applied to a different setting, in the same way you could do fight scenes and choreography. Yeah, to express the same idea.
This is why John Wick was so good, because John Wick was the guy who was like, you know, like he
Well, John Wick, it just worked.
he invented he did his because he was Keanu Reeves is a martial artist. You know, he may not be like a fighter, he may not be like, you know, a warrior, but he is a martial artist. He likes practicing.
Yeah.
So he, you know,
I know kung fu.
The gun shit is just another martial art to him. So he's like, he invented the flicking the mag.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, you know, he's like,
It's not that easy. Yeah, I know, but
yeah.
that's why like, they were just inventive, shot well, and the plot it was simple but it worked.
And he could apply because like when you're a real martial artist, you realize it doesn't matter if you do like Krav Maga, Kung Fu, karate. It's all really the fucking same shit. You're using the same fucking body. And really, here's what martial arts is. People think martial arts is being the badass, strongest motherfucker around. No,
It's about being the
martial
most
art-
disciplined in a certain. Go on.
Yeah, no, you're right. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. But the purpose of martial arts, the reason for its existence, was so the smaller guy could beat the bigger guy. The smaller guy can only beat the bigger guy through martial arts.
Yeah, because that's intelligence.
only
that's
way.
how you fight brawn with brain or whatever.
But
like-
does it not mean that if the little physical guy wasn't using like technology and he just used his better knowledge, does that not make him stronger?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
inherently?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
And what does that tell you about the? And meanwhile, the big guy tries to apply the same, and his like body parts are getting in the way of doing precise.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does that tell you? You know, it's like.
So a guy that relies more on just his.
And here's a
appearance.
good distortion: MMA. MMA is a good distortion because people think like, oh, kung fu would never work against MMA because look at that guy who beat the shit out of him in that fight. But I'm like this, like, MMA comes with rules. You're not
Yeah.
allowed to. I'm not allowed to grab your dick and rip your balls off. I'm not allowed to stick my fucking finger in your eye. I'm not.
Well,
allowed,
the original, the first few
like,
super
what do you
fights.
think martial arts is? Like, you think like.
Well, that's the first few UFC super fight cards or whatever. Like they had no rules. You could use any style, anything, and like there was.
This is how the Gracie family became so.
Yes,
fucking
yeah,
famous,
yeah. Because there's shit that like that.
They were pulling from old Japanese shit. They were like, oh, if when he tries to do this, just slap his ears together, and then he's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
fucking-
and he'll go deaf, and like, you're like, well, we can't have our fighters letting each other go deaf all the time. Yeah,
And meanwhile, they were doing that shit before
Yeah.
the rule. Yeah, that's how because they're pulling from the old ninjutsu samurai techniques. They were like, you know, like slam his
Yeah.
hearing, poke his eyes.
Yeah,
grab
'cause
his
that-
tongue,
yeah.
like chuck his,
and that's not something you wouldn't like in a fight if you,
can't
don't know
do that
that.
in the MMA.
No.
Yeah. This is why I
Well,
don't.
yeah.
This is why I don't like it when they compare like MMA as we know it now to like kung fu because if you're gonna
It's
really
called-
compare it, then you're gonna be dead. Like it's
Yeah.
like if I'm gonna.
It's called mixed martial arts, not the best at every at certain schools of martial arts
or
because you
killing
can't.
arts, you know,
That's
because like martial arts is killing arts. It's not
Yeah. Exactly.
There's
Yes.
a difference between martial arts and combat sports. You know, like the Brazilians made judo into a combat sport, which is why we got Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Or like, you know, like you had like Dana White turn like say fighting into vale tudo into a sport, which is MMA, like kickboxing. Well, kickboxing was also boxing and kickboxing, I got to give it to them. It's a different field because boxing
Absolutely,
at least gives you only the hands, whereas kickboxing also kind of extends it a little bit. They don't let you like clinch and grab as much.
But
MMA,
you're opening up more avenues and more like to work in different styles. Where like boxing is a very specific style because you can only use your hands and like it's very back and forth like